Retirement doesn't have to be complicated.
Make sure that you're going through retirement with confidence.
Learn principles of income planning.
There's a lot of different facets that you need to take into consideration when you're retiring.
Tune into Wealth Health Radio with Joe Murphy, noon to 1 p.m. Sundays on AM 560, The Answer.
Your company's IT needs used to be handled by a trusted local partner, but now they're a faceless nationwide service provider. Response times are slower. Projects drag on, and you're stuck explaining your systems to new techs again and again. At Unique Computing Solutions, we've welcomed over 10 clients who are fed up with that exact experience. We're locally rooted, relationship-driven, and committed for the long haul. Get a free IT assessment today at uniquecomputing-solutions.com. That's uniquecomputing-solutions.com. Your IT challenges solved.
It's news, opinion, insight. It's AM 560, The Answer. WIND, Chicago.
Jacob Fry, Keith Ellison, Richard Blumenthal. The worst thing about dealing with a liar, with a loser, with a fraud Democrat is when they lecture you and they try to give you advice. Listen here, all scumbags. If I want to know how to be a rat, a fraud, a liar, and a con artist, I'll ask you to open your mouth. Until then, shut your mouth, scumbags. We'll discuss that and so much more after news with Patrick Johnson.
Good afternoon. 35 degrees in Chicago on AM 560 The Answer. I'm Patrick Johnson in the QC Kinetics newsroom. Clouds will fade in the overnight. Will be much colder tomorrow with only the low 20s for highs, and Sunday much of the same with cold winds and some flurries possible. Election integrity advocates raising concerns about Illinois' permanent mail-in ballot program in the wake of a voter fraud case in Washington State, where an apartment manager faces multiple felony charges for forging and submitting ballots in 2024 for former tenants, 3 of which were counted.
Carol Davis, chairman of the Illinois Conservative Union, called the Washington case a chilling example of how mail-in voting can be exploited.
The only reason that it was caught is that one of the people whose ballots she used went and voted, so there was a double vote under this woman's name.
Illinois, unlike Washington and Oregon, does not automatically mail ballots to every registered voter.
We have permanent vote by mail where people can opt in to automatically receive a live ballot every election.
Davis discourages Illinois residents from opting into permanent mail-in ballots, warning legislators may use widespread enrollment as justification to eliminate polling places.
That's Katrina Barker reporting. This report is service of Team Hochberg. They've helped thousands of AM 560 listeners with the best rates in service. Let Team Hochberg help you by visiting 56david.com or call 855-563-2843. That's 56david.com. Lower.com, equal housing lender, NMLS 1124061. Time now for the AM 560 Business Beat, a service of Access One Business's IT services and support.
I'm Lauren Simonetti, and this is the Fox Business Report.
A choppy trading session with stocks ending lower for the day and week as uncertainty over the next Fed chair weighed on markets while investors digested the latest financial results from regional banks. Bond yields jumped after President Trump hinted today that he may keep National Economic Council Director Kevin Hassett, a top contender for Fed chair, in his current job. The president tempering his comments and saying we don't want to lose him and we'll see how it all works out. Shares of Novo Nordisk popped 9% after the maker of the Wegovy obesity treatment said sales of its oral weight loss pill, which became available earlier this month, got off to a strong start. The Dow winners, IBM, American Express, and Honeywell. The Dow decliners, Goldman Sachs, United Health, and Salesforce. The Dow down 83 points, the Nasdaq lower by 15, S&P 500 down 4. That's your Fox Business Report. I'm Hillary Barsky, invested in you.
Larry Elder sees the media pushing an agenda.
Father-in-law, ex-father-in-law called it a murder. He no longer calls it a murder. He now says, I'm not blaming anybody. Wouldn't you think the headline would read, ex-father-in-law Renee Good reverses position on her death? Something like that. You won't find that. I wonder why. Because it doesn't advance the media narrative.
The Larry Elder Show. Weeknights at 8, right before Shaun Hannity at 10 on AM 560. The Answer.
Hey, I'm Mike Slater. My dad passed away at the age of 63. It's out of nowhere. Had a stroke. Super hard, obviously, for the whole family, but my dad had life insurance. This is why I have life insurance for my family, for my wife and 4 kids. And the best place to get life insurance is ethos.com because you can do it in 10 minutes. And there's no medical exam and no blood test, just a few health questions. Get life insurance in 10 minutes so your family is protected. Ethos, E-T-H-O-S, ethos.com/Mike.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
I'm Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group. Did you buy a timeshare because they told you it was a great investment? That's a lie. Most timeshares can be bought online for $1. To find out what your timeshare is worth and to cancel it, call us today and we'll send you our timeshare exit kit free with all your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley for your free exit info guide. 800-486-9600. That's 800-486-9600.
Career changers, including veterans and active duty service members. Your transition starts here. Go from GI to IT in a matter of months. Become a certified cyber warrior with training at My Computer Career. Cybersecurity specialists are in high demand, offering IT pros great opportunities and a rewarding lifestyle while protecting our people, liberty, and treasured institutions from cyber threats. Deploy your career in IT today at mycomputercareer.edu/CWP, an elite CompTIA certification partner.
VA education benefits are available to those who qualify.
Meet Morgan Jones. Morgan is about to step into a world unknown to most, thanks to Progressive's Renters Insurance, a place of fresh linens and turn-down service. You see, Morgan temporarily vacated her apartment and has gone to a hotel because a pipe burst in her apartment. A pipe that made her sense of reality and apartment ceiling all come crashing down. Luckily, Morgan checked into Progressive's Protection Zone. Get a quote at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and third-party insurers.
How can you get from here to there? We've got the answer from the AM 560 Traffic Center.
Taking a look at your drive in the AM 560 Traffic Center with traffic, a service of the AM 560 store. Eden's inbound Lake Cook to Montrose, 26 minutes, and a 15-minute drive time outbound Eden's Montrose to Lake Cook, 28-minute drive time on the inbound Kennedy Montrose to the Burn Interchange. On the outbound Kennedy from the Burn Interchange to O'Hare, you're looking at 43 minutes. Inbound Eisenhower from Wolf to the Old Post Office, a 35-minute ride, 38 minutes on the outbound Eisenhower from the Old Post Office to Wolf, and a 32-minute travel time inbound on the Stevenson from 355 to Lakeshore Drive. On the outbound Stevenson, Lakeshore Drive to 355, you're looking at 44 minutes. The Dan Ryan outbound from the Burn Interchange to 95th, you're looking at a 27-minute travel time. Order t-shirts, hoodies, and more from your favorite AM 560 brands, including Proft University and the Shaun Thompson Show. When you go to 560theanswer.com/store, I'm KT. AM 560 The Answer continues next. Now here's the latest check of your forecast.
Now, your official weather forecast from the Air Right Heating and Cooling Weather Center.
Tonight will be overcast and cold with a few snow showers. Any heavier snowfall could lower visibility and create slippery road conditions. The temperature will drop to 15 degrees. Moving into Saturday, expect cloudy skies and even colder weather with some snow showers. The high temperature will reach 22 degrees. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina on AM 560, The Answer.
Get the latest weather, traffic, and news updates online at 560theanswer.com.
Now, from the Signature Bank Studios, this hour of the Shaun Thompson Show is sponsored exclusively by DonleyAuctions.com. They need your guns. Sell for top dollar. DonleyAuctions.com.
Portions of the following show may be pre-recorded.
From the streets of Melrose Park to the trading floor of the Merc, he's fought for every dollar he's ever earned. And now, with personal liberty and our system of capitalism under assault in America, he's here to seize back our rights from the government. With a cigar in one hand and a copy of the Declaration of Independence in the other, he's Shaun Thompson. And this is the Shaun Thompson Show.
Some folks are born made to wave the flag.
I think I was 8 years old. 8 years old, uncle dragging me to Maywood Park Racetrack. Love my uncle, best guy in the world. Had a little bit of a problem with the ponies. Sitting in the racetrack and I'm looking at every degenerate, every bust-out scumbag giving you the creeps. And you know what each one of those scumbags wanted to do to a young kid's, well, it was the 70s, it wasn't the perverts like today. They wanted to give you advice. Always giving you advice. You know, you should never really try to wheel a 6-horse with a 4-horse, and you don't want to do a perfecta or a trifecta. If you got the winner, just play the winner, maybe play show. Losers giving advice. It's a chronic fracking problem. And that's what happens when Democrats scumbags give advice. I want to know how to be a fraud, a liar. If I want to set my wife up in some phony lobbying firm, I'll ask Jacob Fry. I'll say, hey, listen here, child, scumbag that never did anything and you're worth millions. How do I set up my wife to be a front and a bagman? I'll either call Jacob Fry or I'll call Little Dick Durbin or I'll call some other low-life scumbag, election-stealing, thieving rat Democrat. But the last thing I ever want to hear from a Democrat is the last thing I ever want to hear from a guy who has never made a rent payment, a mortgage payment, or a car payment in some racetrack somewhere with some shirt his mother gave him 35 years ago, giving me fracking advice.
And we're in a position right now where we have residents that are asking the very limited number of police officers that we have to fight ICE agents on the street, to stand by their neighbors. We cannot be at a place right now in America where we have two governmental entities that are literally fighting one another.
You mean like sanctuary cities, right? Scumbag? I don't know, Squirrel, is this degenerate bust out a lawyer too? Because that's what most of these low-life Democrats are. Lawyers who are shocked by law. You see, that's exactly what Democrats' scum areas did when they nullified immigration law, when you wanted to pack and steal. That's what you did. You drew first blood, scumbag, and now you're getting your ass kicked. And the evidence is out what kind of rats you are and how you've been stealing from the American people for decades.
Shock you. Ever since the election, Democrats have been trying to scare people into believing that Donald Trump and Elon Musk were coming for your Social Security, that they were coming for your Medicare, your Medicaid. They aren't. None of it was ever true, and now we have the proof.
Now, behind this newscaster are the numbers of just what that dimwit in diapers and those communist thieves known as his cabinet did. In 2021, they gave 270,425 Social Security numbers to illegal aliens. In 2022, they gave 590,193 Social Security numbers to illegal aliens. In 2023, they gave 964,163 Social Security numbers to illegal aliens. In 2024, they gave 2,095,247 Social Security numbers to illegal aliens so they could get on all of our welfare, you filthy scumbags.
To the Department of Government Efficiency, DOGE, Elon Musk's team has just discovered that immigration officials under Joe Biden were doing something that's never been done before. They were giving illegal aliens work authorization papers just 5 months after they filed for asylum. The Biden Immigration Department would then mail each illegal alien a Social Security number, no questions asked, no interview, no background check, and presto, you've got yourself a brand new Democratic voter.
Bingo! What are we going to do? We're going to talk about it? Do you guys want to compromise? Are you going to lecture me, you filthy election-stealing pigs, about right and wrong? This is what you've done. And in these dung holes, like Illinois, dung hole Crook County, in these dung holes that are led by Democrats, they steal on a regular basis.
Administration is staggering. Well, outside the margin of victory. Joining us now, conservative activist and early vote action founder Scott Pressler. Scott, welcome to the program. You're on the ground a lot, and you love registering people to vote. But this is concerning. Not only are they doing it same day with an ID, without an ID, but they allow other people to vouch for other voters.
Yes, I want to be very clear. This is according to Minnesota state law that with vouching, no proof of residency is required.
How's a liar, a fraud, a Somalian pirate, or a Democrat going to vouch? Your word is worth guts on ghoul, you thief.
In with new allegations in a Minnesota voter fraud case that first came to light this summer. 2 people pleaded guilty in federal court to being paid to help register voters. In all, 500 to 600 fraudulent voter registration applications were submitted to election officials in offices in 13 Minnesota counties.
Hi there, Frank. It was some sharp election workers in Carver County who realized the names and addresses on the vote.
No, honey. Thou face. Not sharp, just not Democrats. Not scum. Not liars or frauds or thieves. These were not Democrats.
Voter registration forms did not match with any county residents. Prosecutors charged 2 people with 1 count each of voter registration fraud. According to the charging documents, the 2 were paid by an unnamed foundation.
That's a mere pittance, squirrel. Mere pittance! 2, 3, 20, 600. That's nothing. Democrats have been stealing millions and millions and millions of votes for years.
So, in total, I saw 24 gaylords, or large cardboard containers.
Yeah, get nervous, squirrel. You thought there were a couple of Southside guys with face tattoos driving Lamborghinis. No, this is a term for logistics.
Of ballots loaded into my trailer. These gaylords contain plastic trays. I call them totes, but trays will work, of ballots stacked on top of each other. All the envelopes were the same size. I could see the envelopes had handwritten addresses, return addresses, and I could even tell that one was marked registered mail. That one was off to the side.
We did it, Joe. You're going to be the next president of the United States.
You didn't do anything except steal the election, like you've been doing it in your little enclaves since the Dailies could comb their fracking own hair. Scumbags that they are. And that's why when people call, who are you going to vote for in the Illinois governor Senate race? It's a thief. That's who. That's who wins every time. Crook County. What do you got, 16 crooked Democrat counties? You think you're going to win? You're not going to win. Any more than Trump, his victory in 2020 was actually recognized.
We've heard it before, but insiders say this latest threat from the president to withhold federal dollars from sanctuary cities may stick.
Political reporter Chris Tide tonight on why it's different this time and how the faucet of money from Washington is already shutting off for some here in Chicago.
Starting February 1st, we're not making any payments to sanctuary cities or states having sanctuary cities.
We've heard this before from the president. Punishment for sanctuary cities, he says, makes the country less safe. Now, Chicago City Hall says fresh threats coming to public health dollars, transportation, and public safety, too. The court.
So we got to pay for everything. And when I say we, I don't mean me. I don't live there anymore. You got to pay for everything. And everybody pays for everything in all these blue states. But the good news is, at least the money's going to get shut off from the states that declared war on law decades ago. What are they called, squirrel? Sanctuary states. Ooh. Sanctuary from what? A sanctuary for criminals, for liars, for frauds. And that's why they won't turn over the numbers.
All the red states sent us their data to help figure out what that looked like. We found 200,000 dead people, or people using dead people's Social Security numbers. We found 500,000 people getting more than 2 times what they should have, getting those benefits twice. We found some guy getting benefits in 5 states. And Maria, this is just the red states. I mean, the red states normally have a smaller program, tighter accountability and control. The blue states sued us, and so we're in another active litigation on that. They don't want California, New York, they don't want to turn their data over. So that
interesting, too, about this affordability and housing. There's always a crisis among these bust-out fraud thieves known as Democrats. Always a crisis. Unless, of course, you're the favored scumbag. If you're the favored scumbag, you don't even have to pay for your electric bill. You know where I'm talking about, squirrel? Maine, which is now a hub of Democrat mafia wannabe. They wish they were as corrupt as Minnesota or Illinois. They're dreaming about it. So what they're doing is they're flipping the bill for their illegals on everything, including a residence that would cost you, squirrel, if you filled out an application and you didn't put your 4 names down that ended with a Z. If you didn't do that, you'd have to pay $2,000 a month. But if you got 4 names that end with a Z or a Abidoo or a Yabba Dabba Doo, then you pay nothing.
How much is rent here?
Free. 2 years.
Free?
After 2 years, we have to pay the rent.
All right, y'all, this is Savannah Hernandez in Brunswick, Maine, reporting to you from the apartments where migrants are getting their rent paid for up to 2 years. Now, I wanted to give you guys a first inside look at these units.
You guys miss everything. No inflation, no taxes on your water bill. You don't even care if a crooked energy company raises the rates after they bribe a few Democrats like ComEd and the Chicago Democrats. You don't even care. You know why, Squirrel? You pay guts if you're the favored scumbags.
Shared with us that they come furnished, so they have a flat screen TV in there,
furnished.
couches,
How about a
tables,
lazy
chairs,
boy? You guys ain't got to work.
We also asked them as well, hey, are you paying utilities here? They shared with us that nope, they do not have a water bill, they do not have an electricity bill.
And what about the light and the water?
Everything is good. We don't pay anything.
Now, it's called drinks around the house, scumbags. And you know what? This had a little side effect, Squirrel. It was called inflation. Let's go to an economic genius. Clearly a genius. I think she's just acquired another property for $8 million. That brings her assets to about $27 million in just real estate holdings. She'll tell us exactly the ramifications of inflation. Won't you, hornswoggler tramp?
What else are you going to do to fix this problem with inflation?
All right, thank you. Well, let's start with this.
All right.
Prices have gone up.
Oh, boy.
And
take your shirt off. You think better. Naked.
Families and individuals are dealing with the realities of that bread costs more, that gas costs more.
Not the illegal aliens. They pay nothing there, honey.
And we have to understand what that means. That's about the cost of living going up. That's
cost
about
of living. What would contribute to that, Squirrel?
That the climate crisis is real, that it is an urgent matter to which we should apply metrics that include holding ourselves to deadlines around time.
Did you have a deadline to buy an oceanfront mansion in Malibu, tramp?
Mamala just bought an $8 million Barbie Malibu dream house. Here are the highlights. Indoor-outdoor living, a spa bathroom with soaking tub, built-in speakers everywhere, perfect for Doug's spin class. Backyard gets even better. Full kitchen, private putting green, and of course, a big, beautiful fire pit. Because Malibu definitely needs more fires. It's been burnt to a crisp thanks to Democrats, but not Kamala's new neighborhood. It's untouched.
$8 million! And I love it. Now keep voting for these scumbags. And the only reason you would is because you want in on it. So when someone tells you they're a Democrat, it's a confession. 312-642-5600.
Call Shaun now. 312-642-5600.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
Ask yourself this question. Is it really worth holding on to that timeshare that you know you need to get rid of? Here's the truth. The average maintenance fee just went up over 17%. That could have been 117%, and there's nothing you can do about it. When you buy a timeshare, you give them a blank check for annual maintenance and assessment fees. I'm Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group. For 15 years, I've helped over 50,000 families cancel their timeshare. Not sell it, not transfer it, cancel it. Did you buy a timeshare because they told you it was a great investment and your maintenance fees would never go up? That's a lie. Are you ready to get rid of your timeshare once and for all? Simply call us and I'll send you our timeshare exit kit that explains all your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley now for your timeshare exit kit. 800-682-3311. That's 800-682-3311. 800-682-3311.
Hi, this is Shaun Thompson. The roller coaster. No matter your age, no matter the amusement park, it never ceases to bring the emotional goods, the anticipation, the excitement, and then the fear, and the adrenaline rush that comes from the king of all rides. The same can be said when it comes to your retirement. Lots of questions and concerns that for some reason can feel like a roller coaster. Will you be able to continue to live as comfortably as you do now? Or will you have the complete financial independence? Or will you run out of money? How about taxes, Social Security, or health care? Tom Fortino and the team at Alpha Wealth Group can answer all of these questions and much more with their roadmap to retirement. And all you have to do is simply call 630-864-6711. That's 630-864-6711. or online at alphawealthgroup.com. Call Alpha Wealth Group today, and let's save the fear and adrenaline for the amusement park.
Making the switch to a new communications and IT company may seem like a big ordeal, but if you're not getting the reliable support, consistent internet, and secure solutions your company needs, meet Access One, your local Chicagoland IT experts. Access One has been powering Chicago businesses with secure, reliable IT solutions for over 30 years from our headquarters right here in the West Loop. Whether it's VoIP phones, dedicated internet, managed cybersecurity, cloud backups, or 24/7 support, Access One is here for you. Serving thousands of companies from Naperville to the North Shore, Access One is Chicago-owned and Chicago-run, a trusted IT partner for law firms, clinics, tech startups to manufacturers. We'll make the switch easier than you think. Let's talk. Call 800-654-1555 or visit accessoneInc.com. Rated top 5% in customer satisfaction and a Better Business Bureau A+ rated business. That's accessoneInc.com. Tech made personal, locally.
AM 560, The Answer.
Friday, double-edged sword. Used to be a lot of fun Friday. Not anymore for me. I hate the weekend. So let's get it all in. See, we got him on the rope, Squirrel. Now it's time to finish him. Everybody in this country knows that Minnesota is a front and that Somalia is not a country, it's a syndicate.
On Minneapolis, Mr. President, I have a follow-up for you. The state officials there have said that the FBI is not sharing evidence with them. Typically, they would conduct a joint investigation, as you know. Do you believe that the FBI should be sharing evidence with state officials in Minnesota?
Well, normally I would, but they're crooked officials. I mean, Minneapolis and Minnesota, what a beautiful place, but it's being destroyed. It's got an incompetent governor, fool. I mean, he's a stupid person. And it looks like the number could be $19 billion stolen from a lot of people, but largely people from Somalia. They buy their vote. They vote in a group. They buy their vote. They sell more Mercedes-Benzes in that area than almost... Can you imagine you come over with no money and then shortly thereafter you're driving a Mercedes-Benz? The whole thing is ridiculous. So they're very corrupt people.
Which is why you never let them in on it. They're thieves. It's really that simple. So when they act all perplexed, what could it be? I don't understand.
We learned Governor Tim Walz reached out to President Trump today in an effort to tamp down the tension in the Twin Cities. Chief political reporter Tom Hauser's live at the state capitol right now with the latest on that. Tom?
And Kevin, both the White House and the governor's office confirmed that the two men have not talked. The animosity between President Trump and Governor...
It's not animosity. He's a suspect. You're a suspect, and you may very well be the kingpin. It's either you or that other fraud who's on tape with the Somalians. What is his name? Keith Ellison, the crooked bastard? His son on 2 ghost payrolls for Minnesota? It's a front.
The Trump administration's decision to target Minnesota and the Twin Cities, flooding our streets with thousands of federal immigration agents, is not about public safety. It's not about fraud. It's not even about immigration enforcement. It is because, in the words of Donald Trump, he believes that he won our state 3 times, but he did not win it in the election. I'm quoting him. He's the one who said these words, not me.
Well, you do have that problem where you have your same-day voter registration where you've been caught with millions of fraudulent votes. In fact, you're a Democrat dunghole. So nothing you say is the truth, you frackin' liar. Everything about your state is a fraud so that the politicians can all steal the money. I like when they hide it in their spouse's name.
Let me give you the perfect example. How about Minnesota Congresswoman Ilhan Omar? In February of this year, she shot down claims that she's actually a millionaire. She wrote, "My salary is $174,000 before taxes. I don't have stock or own a home. And I'm still paying off my student debt. So if you're going to lie on something that is public, maybe try checking my financial statements, and you will see I barely have thousands, let alone millions." Well, people have checked the public records now. Ilhan Omar apparently has a net worth upwards of $30 million, somewhere between $60 and $30 million. And get this, it's because of companies run and owned by her husband.
Like Jacob Fry's wife, who was paid by the Feeding the Future scam artist Somalian pirates. That's how they work. Isn't that right, little Dick Durbin? How's your wife doing? Laying down, huh? You better stay off your feet with that weight.
who in 2023 had a net worth of $51,000. In 1 year, that $51,000 grew from $6 to $30 million. 3,500% growth in 1 year.
She's an economic guru, like Kamala Harris. Tell us more.
Having to stress and stretch limited resources. That's about a source of stress for families that is not only economic, but is on a daily level, something that is a heavy weight to carry. So it is something that we take very seriously.
Smart, huh, Squirrel? Couldn't find their underwear for 17 years. John, Tinley Park.
Hey, Shaun, how are you?
Aggravated. How are you?
Hey, I love listening to you, but you get my blood boiling, too. I got half a Paisan in me, and I get going.
See, you don't even have to work out anymore. You're welcome.
No, thanks. My wife got her lawful permanent residency card a little over 5 years ago. So we went to the Schaumburg facility to get her driver's license. The young girl is asking her if she wants to register to vote, motor voter. And me being hothead Paisan, I jump over. I says, well, you know she's not a citizen. And the girl's like, well, young kid, I feel bad. Well, we're not supposed to ask. Really? So my wife would have unknowingly been registered to vote if I didn't chime in.
Yeah.
And this is one of how many in this state?
It's not that kid's fault that she's the niece of Daley or Alexi Giannoulias or some Democrat donor. Don't worry about it. It's not her fault. She's just doing what they do, stealing elections.
Yep. And like I said, this is one, and I'm like, are you kidding me? But anyway, I love listening to you. I love listening to you.
Thank you, brother. Thank you for listening. I appreciate it. You have a good weekend. When we get back, we're going to go to the lines. Jim, you'll be first. That'll be after we get back.
Broadcasting from the petri dish of corruption known as the state of Illinois.
In the upper Midwest, the nation, and around the world.
This is the Shaun Thompson Show on AM 560. The Answer.
Too often, cremated remains are kept at home, then forgotten. At Queen of Heaven Cemetery in Hillside, we have your cremation options. Come visit our new cremation garden, see our beautiful granite columbariums, or view our elegant indoor glass front niches. These offer sacred, lasting ways to honor your loved one. If cremation is your choice, our memorialization is a forever option. Give them the dignity of a permanent resting place where they'll be remembered for generations. Visit us today, CatholicCemeteriesChicago.org.
When you can no longer handle your own home, Hearthstone Assisted Living at the Lutheran Home in Arlington Heights is here to help make life easier. Experience upscale living with comprehensive health services. We offer fine dining, engaging activities, available chaplains, weekly worship services, and quality amenities including a bistro, expansive library, and general store. For a limited time, mention WYLL for an additional discount. Call 847-595-5024 or visit LutheranLifeCommunities.org.
I can't believe how much better Dad's doing since we brought on Senior Helpers of Naperville Southwest.
I know. He's more engaged, more himself. It makes such a difference having him right here at home. Around the photos, his old record player, his favorite recliner, all the little things he knows. That familiarity really matters with dementia.
And their caregivers, they're just incredible. They treat him with so much patience and respect.
Plus, they helped us tap into a Medicare program that offers 80 hours of respite care for Alzheimer's and dementia.
We're not worried anymore, and Dad gets to stay where he's happiest, at home.
Trust the caregivers at Senior Helpers of Naperville Southwest, serving Cook, DuPage, Kane, Kendall, and Will counties. You can call them 24/7 at 331-281-0728. Again, that's 331-281-0728. And tell them AM 560 sent you. Senior Helpers of Naperville Southwest. Senior care, only better.
I'm just reading this for the first time myself. On February 24th, President Donald J. Trump will deliver his State of the Union address to Congress. After all, he did win 3 times in a row. And AM 560 is throwing a viewing party. You're invited to join us for dinner at the Meridian Banquets and Conference Center in Rolling Meadows. Whew. Thank God, Squirrel, because I wouldn't have wanted to go to the ghetto. So now we get to go to a wonderful place with wonderful people. And I believe I'm doing the show there. Enjoy dinner before the speech, and then watch the speech. I'll be there. Proft will be there. Jeannie Ives, Amy Jacobson, John Anthony, along with all of us, our little family. I am broadcasting live from that day, so if you want to get there early and throw things at me, I find it very attractive. I like the kind of pressure. So get there, be there, or be square. You can get all the information at AM 560, The Answer. slash watch party, or slash party, I'm sorry. AM 560 The Answer, or that's 560 The Answer slash party. 560 The Answer slash party. See what happens, Squirrel, when your phone goes out? When we get back, Jim in Lake County, you're definitely going to be first. They'll be after news with Patrick.
Thank you, Shaun, and good afternoon. 35 degrees in Chicago in the QC Kinetics newsroom on AM 560, The Answer. A man is going to federal prison for participating in 2 violent carjackings in Chicago in 2022. Edmund Singleton sentenced to 17 years. Singleton and 2 others stole vehicles the same night. The first vehicle was taken at a gas station in Roseland. The second was stolen a few hours later at a gas station in Bronzeville. The Supreme Court has revived a Republican congressman's lawsuit over mail-in ballots in Illinois.
In a 7-2 decision, the Supreme Court finding Illinois Congressman Michael Bost has the right to challenge a state law allowing mail-in ballots received up to 14 days after Election Day to be counted. Chief Justice John Roberts explaining the Constitution requires a legal challenger to have a personal stake in a case, writing he is a candidate for office and a candidate has a personal stake in the rules that govern the counting of votes in his election. Bost, a Republican, and other plaintiffs sued the Illinois State Board of Elections in 2022, claiming the mail-in ballot procedures violate federal election law. Later this year, the Supreme Court will hear a Mississippi-related case over the legality of counting ballots that arrive after Election Day.
Fox's Kristen Goodwin reporting. This report is service of Air Ride Heating and Cooling, offering AM 560 listeners $56 off any service, including inspections, or take advantage of limited-time federal rebates on a new furnace. Visit Air Ride Heating and Cooling today at AIR-RITE.com. That is AIR-RITE.com. On AM 560 from the Traffic Center, here's a check of the roads.
Taking a look at your drive in the AM 560 Traffic Center with a 16-minute delay. Eden's inbound Lake Cook to Montrose. You're looking at a 34-minute ride. No issues, and a 15-minute travel time outbound Eden's Montrose to Lake Cook, and a 25-minute delay on the inbound Kennedy Montrose to the Burn Interchange. You're looking at 35 minutes, and a 42-minute ride Kennedy outbound from the Burn Interchange to O'Hare. Traffic is solid outbound Addison Street to the Eden Junction. Inbound Eisenhower Wolf to the Old Post Office, a 39-minute ride. 42 minutes outbound Eisenhower Old Post Office to Wolf, a 29-minute travel time on the inbound Stevenson from 355 to Lakeshore Drive. Outbound Stevenson Lakeshore Drive to 355, 47 minutes on the Dan Ryan inbound 95th to the Burn Interchange, a 17-minute ride, and a 10-minute delay on the Dan Ryan outbound from the Burn Interchange to 95th. You're looking at 24 minutes. You're pretty much parked outbound Dan Ryan Burn Interchange to 18th Street. I'm KT.
Now, your official weather forecast from the Air Ride Heating and Cooling Weather Center.
Tonight will be overcast and cold with a few snow showers possible. Be cautious as heavier bursts of snow could limit visibility and create slippery road conditions. The temperature will drop to 15. Moving into Saturday, expect cloudy skies and even colder conditions with a chance of some snow showers. The high temperature will reach 22. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina on AM 560, The Answer.
Get the latest weather, traffic, and news updates online at 560theanswer.com.
Start the new year off on a healthier note by taking active liver supplements from New Nordic every day. Available online at Amazon or newnordicusa.com or at your local CVS, ShopRite, Meijer Grocery, or Wegmans.
A vacation should be relaxing, and it can be an adventure. Alistair Begg invites you on a remarkable cruise to the Netherlands and Norway, September 5th through the 12th, 2026. You'll see one of the most picturesque parts of the world, sailing through breathtaking fjords with towering cliffs, cascading waterfalls, and glassy pure waters, while basking in the luxury of first-rate travel, complete with elegant cuisine aboard Holland America's majestic cruise ship, the Statendam, and studying God's Word daily with Alistair. One of the stops will be the village of Nordfjordjed, tucked between fjords and forested hills, welcoming you with small-town charm. Visit the Viking Center, where you can see the largest Viking ship ever discovered. Cabins are limited, so call today at 855-565-5519, 855-565-5519, or log on to deeperfaithcruise.com.
What if 2026 could be the best year ever for your retirement? It can, when you take control of your financial future with physical precious metals. Call Advantage Gold at 800-741-GOLD right now and get your free gold rollover kit valued at $49, yours just for calling. More Americans than ever are discovering the power of rolling over a portion of their IRA or 401k into physical gold and silver. With a simple, tax and penalty-free rollover, you can add stability, security, and strength to your retirement. In times of inflation, uncertainty, or market swings, gold has been a steady, tangible, proven store of value. And in 2026, it could be the key to building the retirement you've always imagined. That's why so many people trust Advantage Gold, the #1 rated gold IRA company in America for 10 years running. Call 800-741-GOLD to get your free gold rollover kit. Call 800-741-GOLD and let 2026 be the year you finally take control. Consult your financial advisor before investing. Call 800-741-GOLD.
Now, from the Signature Bank Studios.
This hour of The Shaun Thompson Show is sponsored exclusively by DonleyAuctions.com. Wild West items, political history, we sell your American treasures. DonleyAuctions.com.
AM 560, The Answer.
There's another scandal. I mean, there's always one. It's one every afternoon in Minneapolis, and it's in the public schools. Just like all these Democrat enclaves, that's where they really steal the money, get away with it for decades.
Scott Jensen here. The Minneapolis public schools this year had a deficit of over $100 million. Next year, they're still going to be in a deficit of millions of dollars. But here's an interesting story from the Minnesota Reformer by Melissa Whitler yesterday. Minneapolis schools remove key finance staff, and yet they refuse to explain it. The Minneapolis Public Schools placed its top 3 finance department leaders on administrative leave more than a week ago and has not provided any public explanation, despite the fact that they've been in deep trouble with their budget deficit for years. The district has declined to comment to the Minnesota Reformer. The school board is going to meet in closed session to discuss potential litigation in an employment-related manner, but they won't specify.
So the question is, Squirrel, did they misappropriate more or less than the lowest thievery that goes on in Chicago public schools? I say less. Jim, Lake County.
Namaste, Shawnee. Namaste, my brother.
How are you?
Hey, my complaint tonight is we have Democrats that not long ago created all these mischarges, false charges, and that almost became reality. And now here we are as Republicans, and we have actual evidence, immigration fraud, Ilhan Omar, the fraud scams that are going on in California, Ohio, Maine, Maryland, Minnesota, Minneapolis, which I like
Illinois.
to call Illinois. Of course, Illinois. Sorry. Can't forget Illinois, but many Lapalist, I think is how they call it. But yeah, what can we do about that? How can we put the go pedal and make this happen?
Listen,
put these people in jail.
I was having lunch with a wonderful, smart man today and his beautiful family, and we were talking about this. And by the way, this is not somebody who has been overly involved in politics more than succeeding. He's a successful guy. And what's interesting is, I think the only answer is absolute and total receivership of these corrupted states, or if you don't have the testicle fortitude to move forward with what needs to be done and seize these corrupt areas, then secession. Those are the only 2 answers. Democrats cannot govern themselves. I don't know how many times we have to go through this. From the smallest municipality, Jim, to the largest state, they cannot do it. Riddled in the same kind of scandal. And by the way, we talk about Minnesota. It truly is the appetizer to California. California is times it by 10 what Minnesota stole. And you're probably real close to
After what's been exposed with the daycares in Minnesota, I'm a licensed private investigator in California. I started looking into state records and I found ghost daycares. These are places where the state inspectors showed up. There would be 28 kids enrolled, and there were no kids there in the middle of the day and in the middle of the week. In fact,
you know when that's from? It's from 3 years ago. This has been going on for years. They are fiefdoms. They're not areas anymore. They're fiefdoms, and they normalize it. And in there lies the problem, because the people adapt to it just like we did for many, many years. I mean, come on. You knew what that mafia city was. Everybody knew. At Burke, Madigan, the Dailies. It's a crime syndicate. It's not a city. Greg, Rogers Park.
Shaun, I have a question for you on the economics. Seems to me the stock market is overvalued. And Steve Bannon said, though, even though the market is up, he thinks the dollar is going to get destroyed. What's your opinion?
Well, it's a very safe call because it's the same answer. The market, what is a stock? This is the number one. Let's start from the premise. What is a stock? A stock is a currency of whatever company it is. So if the company has not come up with a new innovation, has not acquired a new business, put a new CEO, hasn't done something of any substance, but you still see it going up, you're seeing the mere reflection of what you used to buy it go down. That's why all of this is like this, except if you're in a Democrat area and your property never goes up. And if it does, it still doesn't offset the what's called inflation. It's just the pace you lose your value of your dollar. And you pay taxes on triple of what that asset is supposedly valued at, because in these Democrat mafia towns, they broke the covenant with real estate owners. It's not based on the value of the asset. That's a lie. It's based on the liability of the government failure and corruption. That's what it's based on. So if you're asking me, I think that the stock market will go up in perpetuity. They're doing nothing different. And I understand what Trump is trying to do, and he's done some amazing things when you look at eggs and costs and oil. And it's going to be, I'm very bullish on the overall opportunities that lie there. But the idea we're still spending at Biden levels, no, stock market's going to continue to go up, and it's not going up because of anything significant other than the buying power of what you use to buy the stock going down. What do you think? Make sense?
Yes, it does. And what about the dollar being destroyed?
That's it. It loses money every millisecond. When you turn on the debt, that's you losing money, whether you admit it or not. Now, whether things lose money,
okay,
it's all it is. You cannot continue to steal and print debt without losing the value. And you know what the argument is, Greg? Well, everybody else is doing worse. And that's true. So you're congratulations. It's called the cleanest dirty underwear scenario. You're the cleanest dirty underwear. That's what the U.S. dollar is in comparison to the other. But see, here's the difference. The rest of the world is run by socialist, Marxist, communist morons. So we're always going to be the cleanest underwear. But if you want to put on Kamala Harris's underwear, congratulations, you're a Democrat. Thank you very much. George in Naperville.
Yeah, Shaun, when the illegal aliens decorate their everything's paid for pads, do they go with early American or French provincial?
Well, I don't know, but something's going to tell me I'm seeing a lot of burgundies. I think a lot of burgundies. Like, for instance, here's a little story in the CWB, which I read because it's the new version of comic papers. Eight-time felon fired an AK pistol from a burgundy Lamborghini. You know what a burgundy Lamborghini costs, Squirrel? It's a burgundy Lamborghini. Now, even if you have the $380,000 to buy this burgundy Lamborghini, it is a Urus, like Uranus. And this face-tattooed, degenerate, bust-out moron has a $380,000 car, $4,500, and an AK-style pistol. What do you think he does for a living? Maybe he could answer that question that we just had from Rogers Park. Maybe he's some sort of a bond genius. Perhaps it's crypto. Or perhaps he's an illegal, alien, filthy scumbag drug dealer. Let's see, Squirrel. Let's go down here a little bit more. What is his name? Where is his name? Oh, here it is. Rivera. His name is Jesus Rivera. Okay. Yeah, Squirrel, maybe I'm wrong. He's clearly a bond trader. That's what he is. He's a bond trader. He's an economic speculator in his $380,000 Lamborghini with 6 face tattoos, an 8-time felon. Congratulations, Crook County and the prosecutors and the judges. You're co-conspirators, scumbag. I wonder if he hit anybody when he's hanging out a window shooting a gun. Filthy animal. 312-642-5600.
This is the Shaun Thompson Show on AM 560. The Answer.
Are you 65 or older and dealing with chronic knee or shoulder pain? You're not alone. At the Joint Relief Institute, we've helped thousands find real relief without surgery. Our non-surgical, FDA-approved treatment uses hyaluronic gel that acts like a cushion between the bones in your knee. As we age, the cushion naturally wears down, causing painful grinding and popping. But our gel restores that cushion, allowing your knee to move smoothly again. Ready to stop the pain and get back to doing what you love? Call the Joint Relief Institute at 708-315-6800. Again, that's 708-315-6800.
Move better, live better with JRI.
Move better and live better with JRI. Contact the Joint Relief Institute today and get back to doing what you love. Call 708-315-6800 or visit jointreliefinstitute.com. Locations in Glenview, Oak Brook, and Orland Park. Call 708-315-6800. Medicare and most private insurance plans accepted. Reclaim your mobility with the Joint Relief Institute.
Is your child tackling new challenges in math this year? Working hard to get ahead of the pack? Here's the good news. There's a secret weapon. Mathnasium, the authority on math education. With over 1,000 learning centers worldwide, we know what it takes to build real confidence in math. Here's what sets us apart. Expert instructors who teach each student individually. No cookie-cutter approach. No rushing through lessons. We create customized learning plans designed specifically for your child's needs, helping them achieve their academic goals, not just this semester, but all year long. Whether they're struggling to catch up or ready to excel, our proven methods work. Kids leave Mathnasium stronger in math, more confident in the classroom, and ready to handle whatever comes next. Visit Mathnasium today and discover why parents trust us with their child's math education. Mathnasium, where kids love math.
With over 50 years of precision tooling, that's a lot of job shop work and custom parts. And it's why Bruscher Machining is the go-to CNC turning and machining company in Chicagoland. If you have a custom project, whether it's a single prototype or a short-run production of a few thousand pieces, give them a call today for your free custom quote. 630-876-1661. That's 630-876-1661. Or visit BruscherMachining.com. That's BRUCHER Machining.com. They also provide heat treating, balancing, plating, and surface coating, welding and fabrication, plus project management. Bruscher Machining guarantees to consistently deliver high-quality parts and solutions on time for reasonable prices. Yeah, everyone says that, but the proof is in the tooling. Stop by to meet their team of seasoned pros and tour the facility located in West Chicago. To learn more about how CNC machining can turn your tough project into an operational reality, contact Bruscher Machining today for your free custom quote, 630-876-1661.
The following is a paid political announcement.
This is Kevin Coyne, Chairman of the DuPage County GOP. I am inviting you to our Lincoln Day dinner on Friday, February 27th at Abington Banquets in Glen Ellen. We will feature keynote speaker and national political commentator Tudor Dixon. Enjoy an evening of camaraderie, great food, and Republican unity. Sponsorship packages are available. Purchase tickets today at DuPageGOP.com. Paid for by DuPage County Republican Central Committee.
AM 560, The Answer.
Squirrel, I've got a couple of screens open. It turns out the judge on the six-face tattoo, gun-shooting, filthy animal out of the $380,000 Lamborghini, both the perpetrator and the judge have the same last name. So the perpetrator's name, I gave it to you the wrong. It's Isaiah, whatever. And lucky for him, he landed in front of a judge with the same last name. I'm sure it's going to be fine. He's an 8-time felon. Does it really matter? 8-time. He's 34 years old. Shouldn't he be in prison? Not among Democrat scumbags. They protect the perpetrators. Steve, Lansing, Michigan.
Shaun.
Yeah.
Hey, you're my guy.
Thank you.
Hey, you are. You're my best friend. You just don't maybe know it yet, but we're best friends.
I agree. I'm in.
Okay, good. Hey, listen, my other best friend, I got a couple of them, and they all fit in the palm of my hand because we all have the same thinking ideology, right? How is it we can be so far off from the Democrat thinking? We ask each other every day, how are we like it almost makes us feel guilty that our
I can help you with this, Steve. I'm gonna help you with this because you're not far off. Believe me, they don't disagree. There's a difference. They're plotting, they're undermining, they're usurping. Yeah. They're not abiding by any principle. They have no character, as you see in story after story for 100 years. So stop thinking that people who are promoting the ideology of collectivism, which is what they are, that they share the same goals and the same virtue you do. They do not. That's why be very suspicious of everybody. And by the way, this is in the problem with a lot of people who self-declare as so-called Republicans, whether it's the two scumbags that were congressmen from Illinois and Kinzinger and Walsh, or it's the new scumbag that pretends to be the Republican governor after giving $8 million to Democrats so he could build his empire of one-armed bandits. So you got to be careful, Steve. Thank you very much, brother.
We're careful.
All right, good. Glenn also has friends he can fit in the palm of his hand.
You bet.
Hey, Shaun, happy Friday. So, the Democrats, Shaun, explain the logic of this to me. If the Democrats are concerned about affordability of Americans, then why do they charge taxes on overtime and shift?
Well, listen to me. This is the illusion. No one who understands anything about earning honest money, anything about economics, nobody who can read believes that Democrats care about individual achievement. They do not. In fact, they guarantee, you give me an opportunity here. Listen, this is from, I think, yesterday or the day before. The moron who pretends to be a teacher and now is the mayor. Listen to this imbecile.
I spoke to Speaker Welch the other day, and you touched on it, but I'm wondering if you can speak a little more directly to this. He said it's going to be very important for the city to come down there before April or May to make their request. You alluded to it, but what kinds of progressive revenue ideas would you like the state to take up that could benefit Chicago, not just the state, because Welch says he'd like to see the millionaires tax in place. What specifically for Chicago would you like Springfield to do?
Yeah, look, first of all, we have always come down before April and May. Right? We've always done that. The only time that we went down there in May is when I was sworn in May 15, 2023. We've had a long, sustained effort to continue to work with our partners in Springfield. We have participated in every single session since I've been mayor. In fact, that work did not start when I became mayor. I've participated in multiple sessions as an educator, as an organizer, as a county commissioner, as now mayor of the city of Chicago. The effort to drive progressive revenue, as you know, goes back well over a decade, right? So I just want to make sure that it's clear that we have always engaged early and as often as we possibly can. Again, the millionaire's tax, of course, is at the top of the list. I've said that for the last couple of years as mayor. That work that we have pushed forward goes back well before I was mayor. I actually believe that there are a number of areas that folks are looking at in terms of progressive revenue. I believe all of it has to be on the table. In terms of what we want Springfield to do specifically for the city of Chicago, I mean, look, it's really about protecting all of Chicago, but it's really about protecting the state of Illinois.
What a frickin' idiot! Now you got people who would never dirty their frickin' shoes by going to that ghetto, and they're out in Illinois and they're in the county. They're already paying for CPS, and they don't care. There's nothing they could do because of these thieves like Chris Walsh, the wife-beating scumbag from Hillside, allegedly, but Maywood. I remember when they were in Maywood moving weight. Now they're big-time Democrats. They're big-time Democrats now, and Springfield and the rest of Illinois have to pay for that ghetto. That is the opposite of the agreement between the American government and citizen. But it's at least an admission that if you live in Illinois and you make money, they're taking more for the ghetto. And that's a bum who couldn't pay his water bill standing there in a $6,500 suit with $37,000 worth of hairdo. There you go. That's an outright communist in 2026, telling all the people of Illinois who hate Chicago, would never vote Democrat, we're taking your money. And you're going to stay? Go ahead. That's why 33 counties voted for secession. And I have yet to hear, and I love Ted. I love him. He's the only guy with an IQ over 60 as far as I could see in the whole fracking race. But if he doesn't run and somebody doesn't run on the fact, I will allow the 33 counties who voted for secessions to secede, because no one should be liable for the city of Chicago mafia that continues to bankrupt everybody and drive down the quality of life. If they don't do that, then brother, that's why I'm standing here in flip-flops. Thank you very much, Glenn. I didn't mean to hang up on you. But we went long. We'll be back.
This is the Shaun Thompson Show on AM 560. The Answer.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. Maybe you haven't heard about us. We're not one of the big guys. Truth is, we don't want to be. If you're over 50, Big Wireless has you paying for more data than you might need. Why? They might want you to cover the costs of younger people who do use all that data. If you're not using the data, you're probably being used. We've heard time and time again that some Big Wireless customers get stuck paying hundreds and even thousands more for years and years because they think it's hard to switch. Not with us. It takes just about 20 minutes and you can change your plan anytime without extra charges. We use the same towers as the big guys, so you'll get the same fast nationwide coverage without the big wireless bill.
Our plans start at just $20 a month. And for a limited time, switch and get your second month free. Call 1-888-FREEDOM, visit consumercellular.com or a store near you and get your second month free today. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing. See site for additional details.
Hi, this is Shaun Thompson. The roller coaster. No matter your age, no matter the amusement park, it never ceases to bring the emotional goods, the anticipation, the excitement, and then the fear and the adrenaline rush that comes from the king of all rides. The same can be said when it comes to your retirement. Lots of questions and concerns that for some reason can feel like a roller coaster. Will you be able to continue to live as comfortably as you do now? Or will you have the complete financial independence? Or will you run out of money? How about taxes, Social Security, or health care? Tom Fortino and the team at Alpha Wealth Group can answer all of these questions and much more with their roadmap to retirement. And all you have to do is simply call 630-864-6711. That's 630-864-6711. Or online at alphawealthgroup.com. Call Alpha Wealth Group today, and let's save the fear and adrenaline for the amusement park.
Well, that was a surprise. The HVAC tech just said our furnace apparently has a cracked heat exchanger, and it'll cost thousands.
Oh, you're kidding. He barely looked at it. Now he's pushing a huge repair? What should we do?
I don't really trust them. We need a second opinion. My brother Mark recommended Air Right Heating and Cooling. I looked them up, and they seem legit. Great Google reviews. I'm sure they'd give us an honest assessment. He liked that they checked their carbon monoxide readings so he knows the air they're breathing is safe. And I guess it also gave a sense of how much life was left in their furnace.
I'd love that peace of mind. Plus, why spend a fortune on something we might not even need?
Get a second opinion from Air Right Heating and Cooling. Tell them AM 560 sent you and get $56 off any service. Visit Air Right Heating and Cooling right now at AIR-RITE.com. Again, that's AIR-RITE.com. Air Right Heating and Cooling. Doing it right since 1959.
It's news, opinion, insight. It's AM 560, The Answer. WIND, Chicago.
I love having my next guest on because he is just somebody who is principled, wicked smart, and what I love about having him on, he's a professor of law at the University of Arkansas, Little Rock, which means that there are kids right now being taught the principles of law and the Enlightenment and the principles of Americanism. This is what I love about Robert Steinbuck. I also love the fact he still practices law, and he just had a big win. We'll discuss all of that and more with Professor Robert Steinbuck after News with Patrick Johnson.
Thanks, Shaun. It's 37 degrees in Chicago in the QC Kinetics newsroom on AM 560, The Answer. State Senate Republicans say Governor Pritzker is wrong to blame President Trump for high electric bills.
The governor said Trump administration policies have raised electricity prices.
They've taken away all the incentives, honestly, particularly from solar and wind, from renewables, and said that now we're going to advantage fossil fuels.
State Senator Chapin Rose says it was Pritzker who signed energy legislation that increases rates and lifts price caps.
Governor Pritzker raised your power bills. He raised everybody's power bills. So I don't want to hear one more thing about affordability from anybody who voted for this bill or any of the other bills.
Pritzker signed Senate Bill 25 last week. Starting in 2030, the law adds a charge to consumer electric bills for battery storage. I'm Chip Talamonte.
Former Vice President Kamala Harris was in Chicago today to celebrate Martin Luther King Jr., the Democrat nominee for president in 2024, in town to deliver the keynote address for the MLK Jr. Interfaith Breakfast, the annual gathering bringing faith communities from across the city together to honor Dr. King's legacy of justice, unity, and service. Bally's Chicago Casino may not open their new facility this year as planned. A bill filed in the legislature would allow casino operators in Chicago to extend their license at a temporary facility by up to 18 months. Bally's currently operating a temporary location in River North at the Medina Temple building. This report is service of AlmostFreeTeeth.com. Think full mouth dental implants are too expensive? Think again. Not at AlmostFreeTeeth.com. With medical insurance, you could save thousands and receive your finally affordable dream smile. Check if you qualify today at AlmostFreeTeeth.com. Time now for the AM 560 Business Beat.
I'm Maria Bartiromo, and this is the Fox Business Report.
The major averages finishing lower and choppy trading after President Trump hinted that he may keep National Economic Council Director Kevin Hassett, a top contender for Fed chair, in his current job, which investors took to mean that former Fed Governor Kevin Warsh is more likely to get the gig. Warsh is viewed by some as potentially less aggressive than Hassett would be in pushing for interest rate cuts. Strength in chip stocks cushioned Friday's losses and oil prices rose. Concerns over military actions in Iran have faded, but any escalation could renew worries about disruptions to crude supply. The Dow down 83 points, the Nasdaq lower by 15, S&P 500 down 4. Shares of DraftKings and Flutter Entertainment and other stocks linked to the sports gambling industry tumbled after new data suggested they may be losing ground to competing products from prediction market startups. That's your Fox Business Report. I'm Hillary Barsky, invested in you.
Hey, I'm Mike Slater. My dad passed away at the age of 63. It's out of nowhere. Had a stroke. Super hard, obviously, for the whole family, but my dad had life insurance. This is why I have life insurance for my family, for my wife and 4 kids. And the best place to get life insurance is ethos.com, because you can do it in 10 minutes. And there's no medical exam and no blood test, just a few health questions. Get life insurance in 10 minutes so your family is protected. Ethos, E-T-H-O-S, ethos.com/Mike.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
I'm Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group. Did you buy a timeshare because they told you it was a great investment? That's a lie. Most timeshares can be bought online for $1. To find out what your timeshare is worth and to cancel it, call us today and we'll send you our timeshare exit kit free with all your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley for your free exit info guide. 800-486-9600. That's 800-486-9600.
Hey, I'm Steve Wyatt, and I want to invite you to the Wyatt Matters Show, which airs every Sunday on this station. You can expect lively discussion and heartfelt reflection that will both entertain and inspire you. And if we do it right, maybe deliver some genuine laughter as well. We talk about not only what matters, but also why it matters.
Wyatt Matters. Sunday morning at 6 on AM 560. The Answer.
I'm alpine skier Michaela Schifrin. I've won the most World Cup ski races in history. But what does success mean to me? Success means discipline. It's teamwork. It's the drive and passion inside of us, and it's why Stifel is one of the fastest growing global wealth management firms in the country. If you're looking for success, surround yourself with the people who will get you there. If you're an advisor or investor, choose Stifel, where success meets success.
Stifel Nicholas & Company Incorporated. Member SIPC and NYSE.
Past performance is no indication of future results. Investing involves risk. Consult a financial advisor before making any investment decisions.
Stuck in traffic? We've got the answer from the AM 560 Traffic Center.
Taking a look at your drive in the AM 560 Traffic Center with traffic, a service of the AM 560 Advantage. A 33-minute ride, a 15-minute delay. Edens inbound, Lake Cook to Montrose. Outbound, Edens, Montrose to Lake Cook. You're looking at 15 minutes. Inbound Kennedy, Montrose to the Burn Interchange, a 40-minute ride. And on the outbound Kennedy from the Burn Interchange to O'Hare, you're looking at 45 minutes. Inbound Eisenhower, Wolf to the Old Post Office, 37 minutes. And a 33-minute ride outbound Eisenhower from the Old Post Office to Wolf. A 35-minute travel time on the inbound Stevenson from 355 to Lakeshore Drive. On the outbound Stevenson Lakeshore Drive to 355, you're looking at a 44-minute drive time and a 25-minute drive time on the outbound Dan Ryan from the Burn Interchange to 95th. Membership has its privileges, including early access to event tickets, exclusive contest opportunities, and special members-only content. Join at 560theanswer.com/join. I'm KT. AM 560 The Answer continues next. Now here's the latest check of your forecast.
Now your official weather forecast from the Air Right Heating and Cooling Weather Center.
Tonight will be overcast and cold with a few snow showers. Any heavier snowfall could lower visibility and create slippery road conditions. The temperature will drop to 15 degrees. Moving into Saturday, expect cloudy skies and even colder weather with some snow showers. The high temperature will reach 22 degrees. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina on AM 560, The Answer.
Get the latest weather, traffic, and news updates online at 560theanswer.com.
Now, from the Signature Bank Studios, this hour of the Shaun Thompson Show is sponsored exclusively by DonleyAuctions.com. They need your guns. Sell for top dollar. DonleyAuctions.com.
I love America. I love the Constitution. I love the First Amendment. I want to carry and all else. I love property. And let me tell you something. if you care about your country, read Ludwig von Mises and the 6 lessons of the Austrian Economic School, motherfuckers.
From the streets of Melrose Park to the trading floor of the Merc, he's fought for every dollar he's ever earned. And now, with personal liberty and our system of capitalism under assault in America, he's here to seize back our rights from the government. With a cigar in one hand and a copy of the Declaration of Independence in the other, he's Shaun Thompson. And this is the Shaun Thompson Show.
Some folks are born made to wave the
On the anniversary of January 6th, a young reporter had confronted Jamie Raskin.
Hi, Mr. Raskin. How are you? Fantastic hearing. You did a great job spreading the same lies from the first J6 on Select Committee. Do you care about women that get beaten to death by police? Like Roseanne Boylan. Did you know that this woman was killed by J6 police? This is her picture. Do you care? Do you not care? I guess you figure your pardon, that auto pen pardon, must keep you sleeping at night, sir? Sir, do you think that you might go to jail possibly for your J6 crimes?
Are you still advocating for civil war conditions? Or is that over, sir?
Thanks for the lies, Congressman. Keep spreading the propaganda.
I never bought that, and that girl is not related to me, although I would be very proud if she was. My next guest just had a case, as he is not just a law professor. He is somebody who has worked on the government side when government had people of virtue on the law side. They still do in some areas, I'm sure. He's somebody who has written in many law reviews, and what I love about him is that he's still teaching kids. He is Professor Robert Steinbuch from the University of Arkansas, Little Rock. You just had a big victory, didn't you?
Very big. Thank you for asking, Shaun. Two teachers from northeast Arkansas, a town called Jonesboro, had been teaching for 25 years each, roughly. I mean, really long-time teachers. And they're conservatives, God forbid, right? I say sarcastically. And they went to the J6 rally. And they heard the president speak, and then they went, as the president suggested, towards the Capitol. They had thought there'd be big monitors up outside, like there was when the president spoke in the ellipse, where they could sort of view what was going on in the Capitol. Of course, that wasn't the case, but they didn't know any wiser. In any event, you know, they were part of the largely peaceful crowd. You remember there were hundreds of thousands of people there, and law enforcement said that there were roughly 2,000 people involved in, criminal acts,
right.
dangerous acts, violent acts. And my two clients were amongst the other 198,000 or, whatever
Yes.
it was. Excuse me.
No, go ahead.
And so they went there. They're outside the Capitol. They never crossed any barriers. They never confronted any cops, other than one cop they saw that who was very kind, and they kind of thanked for his service as they were marching down whatever avenue they were marching down. Then the violence happened at the Capitol, and then there was an alert put out that everybody needed to go home, and they went home, and that was it. Well, and they're posting about this on Facebook. Some local fellow decides to become the leftist police, and he starts attacking them. He starts saying all of these awful things about my clients online. Then he contacts their employer, the school district, and says, oh, these people are terrible and they need to be fired. And the superintendent looks into it and gets back to him and says, yeah, they didn't break any laws. They didn't do anything. And so then this guy says to the superintendent, well, then you need to be fired. It's like that old joke. And another thing, right?
Yes.
And then he reports them to the licensing agency. Every state has one for teachers, right? Teachers,
Yes, of
right?
course.
And reports them to the licensing agency. Then this mysterious anonymous packet shows up at the press, and the day after the anonymous packet is reported on by the press, this fellow sends in a bunch of additional information to the licensing board. Oh, and another thing, right?
Yes.
Anyway, I represent them in the licensing board, and they keep their licenses and they're cleared eventually. I mean, it's a bit of a process. And then we finally said enough is enough, and this guy's a bully, and we sued him. 5 years later, almost to the day, we won a jury verdict, unanimous. And in Arkansas and in many states, for a civil case, you don't need all 12 jurors to agree. You only need, in Arkansas, 9. We got all 12 jurors to agree, and they awarded a total, I have 2 clients, total of $120,000 in damages, most of which, by the way, was punitive damages. And punitive damages are punishment for a defendant who's done particularly bad behavior, and that's how bad they thought of this defendant. And now we're hoping to try to collect that money from him. We'll see if that's going to be hard or not. There was some indication that he might file for bankruptcy, and if he does,
sure.
Well, we'll file a claim in the bankruptcy court and do whatever we need to do there too. But this was about proving that you can't get away with the leftist attacks that have been so common in society today, and they just think they can say anything they want to anybody they want and make any sort of false claim. And we said enough is enough. We're not going to tolerate this kind of bullying.
I love it, and I love it because it's a thumb in the eye of the Leviathan that thought he could intimidate people into being quiet. I have had a blessing in a terrible time, and that blessing is this show. And I was asked on election night. I tell this story, but Bruce Dumont was a wonderful radio host. He was on Coast to Coast. Beyond the Beltway was the name of his show. He was doing election night coverage, and he, by happenstance, said, "Would you like to come on? I'd like to have you on." And I said, "Absolutely."
Wonderful.
And I was doing the election night, and when they shut the countdown, that's when I knew, because I grew up here. And in Chicago, since 1960, all Democrat mafia guys, and for decades, they still do, bragged of how they stole the election for JFK. And being around Chicago, the scumbags, I speak Chicago scum, I knew what was going to happen. And the bow on the thief, on the package of the election theft, was January 6th. And it's funny because there is a very well-known radio host who's a wonderful guy, and he's a very magnanimous, he's a professional radio guy, nothing like me. And his name is Mancow. And we share a producer. His old producer, he's not in the radio business, he retired. His producer is my producer. And I was telling her in a conversation how at the time I was asked to go to January 6th by people who were okay. I didn't know. And they said, no, we're going to pay. We're going to pay for the thing. She goes, the same thing happened to Mancow. And the more I started to look into it, the more you see what a setup and I believe this, the whole thing was. And the more you look into the evidence of Ray Epps and you look into the FBI, and now there are hundreds, if not thousands of assets. And it's a very wonderful way in which they plotted this. And the assets were these guys who had been former scumbags, drug dealers or whatever. They turned them into CIs. And this way they don't have to claim them as employees. And that's who participated in a lot of this organization of what is staged, a staged insurrection. And it's a fascinating reality, but there has to be retribution for this kind of scandal, because since then, I've interviewed grandfathers, construction workers, fathers, all persecuted people who went to ask for an audit. That's all they did. Nobody was violent. Robert, I have had on some of the most wonderful people, and they were prevented from talking to the lawyer. I will never forget, I had one guy from Texas. He was an out-of-work construction guy, beautiful little family, his wife stuck together. 2 years, they wouldn't let him talk to a lawyer. 2 years. They kept him in solitary confinement. I just had a grandfather on, Navy veteran. They kept him in for 60 days, but he's 60-something years old and sick. They kept him in and they tortured him in solitary confinement. I mean, what if we have to go back at them and use law, and there has to be an accountability, a retribution for this abuse people took who knew what happened on election night. January 6th was people who probably never would have went like your clients, just to see what was going to happen. And the idea that they have been slandered, they've lost their reputation, money. Robert, time is the enemy of every man. I don't care if you're a young man or an old man. And they stole, as I look at it, when I say they, I'm talking about nefarious players in the government, stole not just 4 years of that presidency. They stole the years and the anguish and the aggravation we all went through during those 4 years. So there has to be retribution. And I think this is bigger than the $160,000 or anything else. This may be a precedent now for people to go after all of these scoundrels that ruined you.
That's right.
I love what you did, and I love you for doing it. It is absolutely fantastic. And, of course, he's going to file bankruptcy. Listen, when you play games with gypsies, they cheat. That's how it works. But I love the fact you're going to continue to go after him. I think this is fantastic.
Well, it's very kind of you to say, and you're right on the money. You know, there were people on J6 who did violent acts and did things that I don't approve of. And even in those situations where I'm not, you know, some people say, oh, it's all, you know, none of it was a problem. I'm not there, but I'm open to them having their views. But even in those circumstances where I, Ross Steinbuch, think some folks did some things wrong, overwhelmingly, you look at the criminal prosecutions in those cases and the sentences, you got rapists getting shorter sentences than some of these folks that did some violent activity, in my mind, deserving of punishment, but there needs to be some proportionality. And this was the other problem. There was no proportionality. Well, there was significant lack of proportionality in the enforcement of those cases, which undermines the credibility that this was simply done as a matter of ordinary law enforcement.
Well, it's very interesting, right? Because the people who support, the people who are the kind of people that would say, you're cheating me, I will not be cheated. Right. They're easily entrapped. I'm like that. I would have been easily entrapped had I gone to that, right? Because, listen, I like doing two things, and only one of them I have my clothes on. So I don't mind a good fight. You shove me, we're going to fight. So it's easy to be entrapped in that circumstance. Yeah, I give all the credit in the world to the nefarious American, as I call them, the Obama Marxists. They knew exactly how to set this up, and it was brilliant. It was brilliant. But there's a couple things I can never let go of, and that is that 110-pound Navy veteran, the woman, I watched, thanks to the video. That Capitol policeman, and by the way, if you're in Democrat areas, like in my old city, and you want a cushy gig, and you want to sit behind Ed Burke's house, who's a longtime scallywag, and wait for him to get the Viagra to kick in, and he wants to go see his girlfriend, and that's your job, and you get a police badge, and you get the pension, and you do that. You know how you get that cushy job? Because you're part of that mafia. That's how I view Capitol Police as well. It's a cushy job. In the grand scheme of things, it's normally a very cushy job. And when I saw that guy walk up and point blank range shoot that 110-pound girl in the neck, I have been angry ever since. And there has to be some sort of an accountability for what we all witnessed. And by the way, I say this to you after all the evidence of the election frauds and theft and testimony. And look at Giuliani, what they did to him. It's really, I love what you did. I think you set the ball rolling. I really do.
I hope so. And, you know, what's interesting about that case where that woman tragically died, there it is, Ashley Babbitt. That's exactly right. You know what's interesting to me about that case is I think reasonable minds can differ on whether that was an appropriate use of force. Here's what I don't understand. The left has overwhelmingly come out against the use of force by law enforcement in far less in situations in which the use of force was far more clear in favor of law enforcement, and yet members of the left have attacked that. And the left was overwhelmingly silent in the Ashley Babbitt killing. Why? Because she was not part of their leftist agenda and their leftist demographic. And as a consequence, she doesn't get any defense by them because they're only concerned about their agenda.
And to watch it and to be a punk. You know how you and I should have met? We should have never met like this because thankfully John introduced us to it, and I'll always be thankful to John Gallagher for doing that. But we should have met because you should have been my lawyer. I'm a punk.
There you go.
I've been arrested a few times. I've been in scuffles with actual coppers, okay? They have been hit in the head. And not a one time, and coppers that would arrest me and they'd be mad at me, yelling at me the whole time, did they ever have such low character as to shoot me in the neck? And I was putting up a fight, and you see this 110-pound woman going through the skinny window, That's murder. I really believe that's murder. And you know, it's funny as you watch the reality of what's going on now with the woman who ran over the ICE agent. And you want to argue on her behalf, and listen, shooter, not shooter, she hit him with, you want to argue the technicalities of it. Not 1/10 of the outrage for this professional protester, for this woman who had a car. Not 1/10 for a veteran, a mother who had never gone to a protest, never in her life. It's just nauseating to me. It really is.
Well, that's precisely my point, right? The very people that are arguing on behalf of the woman in the car in Minnesota, and by the way, I'm not in love with how that all went down with the ICE fellow either. I think the smarter move, if he was fearing for his life, would be to get out of the way of the car. But again, I think both circumstances can give rise to legitimate arguments on both sides. But how is it that all those folks that are arguing against the ICE agent or officer, whatever his ERO officer, whatever he was, in that circumstance, had nothing to say about the Ashley Babbitt case? That's the hypocrisy that drives me crazy.
Yes, it is. But, you know, and when you step back, right, and you think about this, you know, and you and I have had this conversation. As far as I'm concerned, I don't like to be called a conservative because, to me, I don't want to tell anybody to do anything. I don't want any rules. I'm the classic liberal, right? That's how I view it. Yeah, but you have these people that they use that as a Trojan horse because what they are, as I see it, are communists. They really are. And a communist, to me, it taps that sense of jealousy and violence and evil where they want the people that resist, that refuse to capitulate. They want them dead. And if you look throughout our history of the world, that's how millions of people die, because they don't conform. And the people who want to take their assets, they cheer when they're dead. The Cuban communists did not care when Che Guevara killed tens of thousands of them on the beach. They put his face on their shirts. And that's what we're dealing with here in this country. So our problem is we're hoisted by our own compassion. We're hoisted by our own virtue, by our own patriotism. It's used against us. And that's how I view this January 6th setup. And I love that you took it on. I think it's crucially important. And by the way, the people you represent, because they could have just went away. They could have just taken it. And what did they stand to lose? What would they have lost had you not won?
You know, in the end of the day, they were lucky enough to retain their jobs, but what they had lost was their reputation, and they were sullied by the ongoing claims by this he was off the reservation with his attacks on them. And they said, we have to regain our good name. And that's what they gained in addition to the $120,000 judgment. Thank you very much. That they regained with this lawsuit. And that's why you have to tell a bully no.
I love what you did. I did. And you made everybody nervous who was in on it.
Whether
they talk about all these cohorts of corruption, because this is a well thought out, well orchestrated move. The whole thing, from the election theft to January 6th to the intimidation factor, where you could never say the name of Smartmatic or Dominion, and you couldn't say anything that you had any questions about it. And I almost couldn't believe I was living that reality in my country, the land of the free speech. And when I saw Giuliani, Rudy Giuliani bankrupted after everything I didn't agree with Rudy Giuliani. When he ran for president, I'm like, he's not my kind of guy. But what he did and the kind of person he was and how he broke the mafia. Here's a guy that came up with RICO, broke them. I mean, it's amazing what he did. And they all cheered as liars and election thief participants stole all his assets. I still want vindication for him. So hopefully he's your next client. You tell him I said so, will you?
I'll do it.
Listen, thanks in the meantime for always making yourself available. More importantly, for having the courage to go through with this case. And I love the fact that you're still a professor. So I follow you on Twitter. Where should everybody else go look for you?
Facebook, probably a little bit more than Twitter these days, at Rob Steinbuch, STEINBUCH, on Facebook. And, of course, I publish a weekly column in the Arkansas Democrat Gazette.
I never had a law professor, but if I did, you'd be my favorite one. Thank you for making time.
God bless, my friend. Talk to you soon.
You too. We'll be back with your calls and comments.
Marxists, socialists, and communists are not welcome on the Shaun Thompson Show on AM 560. The Answer.
The following advertisement includes a celebrity impersonation.
You know, nothing beats the comfort of a perfectly heated home.
And when it comes to heating your home, Air Right Heating and Cooling does it the best.
And they love our country. Beautiful people.
Air Right Heating and Cooling is fast. When your furnace breaks down, they'll fix it right away.
Just like that. Big time results. No waiting around. You get the job done right. And let's face it, who doesn't love being warm, right? It's beautiful. When it's freezing, I crank up that amazing furnace. Burn, baby, burn. Trust me, you'll say, wow, I've never felt this warm in my life.
If you like keeping your hard-earned money, then contact Air Right Heating and Cooling. Tell them AM 560 sent you, and right now you'll receive $56 off any service.
Unbelievable.
Visit Air Right Heating and Cooling today at AIR-RITE.com. Again, that's AIR-RITE.com. Air Right Heating and Cooling. Doing it right since 1959.
Is cremation an option you're considering for you or your loved one? At Catholic cemeteries, we offer sacred, permanent places of rest where loved ones can be remembered, prayed for, and visited for generations. Too often, cremated remains are brought home, only to end up in closets, basements, or forgotten on shelves. Memorialization is forever. Honor their life. Preserve your legacy. Visit us today at CatholicCemeteryChicago.org to schedule a free consultation or call 708-236-5490.
This news alert is brought to you by Secure Controls Incorporated. With no signs of retail theft slowing down, organized retail crime now impacts the overall economy with losses trending toward over $150 billion by 2026. It's important now more than ever to send a message to thieves. If you're a VP or Director of Loss Prevention or Asset Protection, you already are aware of these alarming statistics. How can you protect your inventory and get back to rising profitability? It only takes one click to secure.com. That's SE-KURE.com. With active anti-theft security solutions and products from Secure Controls, you're assured state-of-the-art protection of your merchandise. Secure will keep thieves second-guessing and provide peace of mind to your employees. Check out our products manufactured in the USA. From electronic sensors and alarms to mechanical and clothing security to customized solutions, we're the original inventors of anti-shoplifting products. Request our product catalog today at secure.com, SE-KURE.com, or call 800-250-9265.
Want to see if you could pay less in taxes? Try the quick and easy tax calculator at willsave.com. Yes, a free tax calculator. That's WILSAVE.com. Calculate how you could keep more of your hard-earned money and give less to Uncle Sam, especially in retirement. Get your free tax analysis today at willsave.com. And don't forget to tune in to Protecting Your Assets with Steve Shyman every Saturday morning at 8, right here on AM 560, The Answer.
When we get back, 312-642-5600, I'm going to take your calls. And, Mitchell, you're definitely going to be first. We're going to talk about Jeb Bush and all those scumbags. But before I do, the reason I talk a lot about the economy is because it's us that suffer through the corruption. It's us that actually pay for things. If you're listening to this show, odds are you want better for your kids than you wanted for yourself. You want better for America than you wanted under the dimwit in diapers. And if you're going to offset the cost of what it's going to take to fix it, you're going to need somebody to help you navigate those potholes. When we talk about silver, I am always reminded of Alpha Wealth Group. I'm always reminded of Tom Fortino during our lunch. It was $20. He said, I think it could at least double. Boy, oh boy, was he right. And he's been doing this for 30 years. He's been helping people offset the cost of political expenses and corruption and taxes. This is what his specialty is. So if you care about your future and giving your money to your kids, I got the number for you. 630-864-6711. That number again is 630-864-6711. Ask them for a no-obligation consultation. Tom Fortino and all of the people at Alpha Wealth Group for 3 decades have helped people not only navigate the economy, but make certain that when you die, and we all do, your kids get the money. That's the most important thing, because if you're not paying attention, the governments, especially in Democrat areas, their goal is to take your money. That's the problem we have. It can all be avoided by going to alphawealthgroup.com or calling 630-864-6711. And don't forget tomorrow morning, right here on AM 560 The Answer at 9 a.m., the Alpha Wealth Group Hour, where you can hear that conversation from these brilliant, virtuous people for free, right here tomorrow morning. When we get back, Mitchell, 312-642-5600, if you care to participate. That'll be after News with Patrick.
Thank you very much. 36 partly cloudy degrees in Chicago. In the QC Kinetics newsroom on AM 560, The Answer. It appears that there is a bidding war for a new Bears stadium, and Chicago does not appear to be in the mix. Suburban Arlington Heights officials announcing that they will urge Illinois lawmakers to okay a mega project bill that will include a sport venue in Arlington Park. Lawmakers return to Springfield next week. State Representative Cam Buckner among those that's willing to listen to the Bears.
Told the Bears that they need to show their work. They need to be able to walk us through what this proposal is and what it means for folks.
A pair of Indiana lawmakers are proposing a bill that would establish the funding needed to pay for the construction of a new Bears stadium. The Bears released a statement that said they appreciate the efforts by Indiana's governor and Hoosier state lawmakers in advancing the framework that allows these conversations to move forward. For the here and now, the Bears and the Rams set to face one another with a trip to the NFC Championship game on the line. The divisional round playoff matchup will come against the backdrop of frigid temperatures with bone-chilling gusty winds and a possibility of some snow. This report is a service of AlmostFreeTeeth.com. Think full mouth dental implants are too expensive? Think again. Not at AlmostFreeTeeth.com. With medical insurance, you could save thousands and receive your finally affordable dream smile. Check if you qualify today at AlmostFreeTeeth.com. More news coming your way at 6. Continuous coverage of the latest news, traffic, and weather at 560theanswer.com. On AM 560 from the Traffic Center, here's a check of the roads with Jill Urchak.
Taking a look at your drive in the AM 560 Traffic Center with traffic, a service of the AM 560 mobile app. A 26-minute ride, Edens inbound, Lake Cook to Montrose. Outbound, Edens, Montrose to Lake Cook, 17 minutes. A 26-minute ride on the inbound Kennedy, Montrose to the Byrne Interchange. On the outbound Kennedy from the Byrne Interchange to O'Hare, you're looking at 43 minutes. Inbound Eisenhower from Wolf to the Old Post Office, a 35-minute ride. 34 minutes on the outbound Eisenhower from the Old Post Office to Wolf. On the inbound Stevenson 355 to Lakeshore Drive, you're looking at 39 minutes. And a 40-minute travel time on the outbound Stevenson Lakeshore Drive to 355. And a 27-minute travel time on the Dan Ryan outbound from the Byrne Interchange to the 95th. Listen to AM 560 on your smartphone or mobile device when you download the AM 560 mobile app at 560theanswer.com/mobile. I'm KT. AM 560 The Answer continues next.
Now, your official weather forecast from the Air Right Heating and Cooling Weather Center.
Tonight will be overcast and cold with a few snow showers possible. Be cautious as heavier bursts of snow could limit visibility and create slippery road conditions. The temperature will drop to 15. Moving into Saturday, expect cloudy skies and even colder conditions with a chance of some snow showers. The high temperature will reach 22. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina on AM 560, The Answer.
Get the latest weather, traffic, and news updates online at 560theanswer.com.
Hair Volume from New Nordic will make your hair look thick and healthy. Hair Volume is available online at Amazon and NewNordicUSA.com or in the hair care aisle at your local CVS.
Temperatures are cooling, but not concerns about inflation, market volatility, and taxes. Revisit your financial plan this winter. BestGen Wealth Partners work with individuals to develop personalized plans that help navigate changing conditions with confidence. Visit GetRetiredStayRetired.com to learn more.
Advisory services offered through BestGen Advisors, LLC, an SEC registered investment advisor. Securities offered through Private Client Services, LLC, member FINRA and SIPC. Private Client Services and BestGen Advisors, LLC are unaffiliated entities. Any information discussed does not constitute investment advice. BestGen Advisors and Private Client Services do not offer tax legal advice.
If you're over 65 and struggling with knee pain, Joint Relief Institute offers a guaranteed way to treat it. It's non-surgical and often covered by Medicare and private insurance. It's JRI's Joint Arthritis Treatment, knee lubrication placement that's so accurate it's 100% guaranteed and can relieve your knee and shoulder pain in 10 minutes or less. Book your risk-free consultation today and get back to walking, golfing, pickleball to cycling without pain or medication. Call 708-315-6800. Meet the provider, get an x-ray and joint consultation. Why wait? JRI has treated over 30,000 Chicagoans and performed over 400,000 procedures. You could be next. Over 5,000 five-star Google reviews can't be wrong.
Stop living in pain. Call the Joint Relief Institute today, 708-315-6800, or visit jointreliefinstitute.com. Locations in Glenview, Oak Brook, and Orland Park. That's 708-315-6800 for the Joint Relief Institute. Medicare and most private insurance plans accepted.
Now, from the Signature Bank Studios.
This hour of The Shaun Thompson Show is sponsored exclusively by DonleyAuctions.com. Classic cars, vintage motorcycles, gas pumps, drive up the value at auction. DonleyAuctions.com.
AM 560, The
Answer.
The Bush family has been accused of playing a vital role in turning Venezuela into a narco state, with George H.W. Bush allegedly installing a leader and sending Jeb Bush to orchestrate drug trafficking networks and money laundering operations. Bush allegedly leveraged his CIA directorship to engineer Venezuela's slide into narco-terrorism decades ago and used Jeb as a CIA quote-unquote non-official cover agent.
Please clap.
Mitchell in Des Plaines.
Hey there, Shaun. I want to just touch on something about, you always talk about George Bush when he's the CIA director. He wasn't the CIA director under Nixon. It was Gerald Ford for one specific reason. It was his last year before he loses to Carter. Now, the reason why he becomes the CIA director is because they had just done a Frank Church Committee. And
Right.
George Bush knew.
He was the number 2 under Colby, though.
Yes. So what happened was, so he goes and he gets all these very, they have him and Ford. The last year he's in office, I'm talking about Ford and George Bush, they had these clandestine tacit details of meetings. And
Hold on now. Wait a minute. You sounded like Brandon Johnson there. You mean clandestine?
Yeah, he has these clandestine affairs that he's giving all the tacit details of how he needs to protect the agency. And then what follows the Church Committee is the House Select Committee on Assassinations. Now, what happened is when Carter wins, he goes, George Bush offers his resignation, and Carter accepted it in basically June of 1977. And then that's when Colby comes in. So Colby follows George Bush. And the only reason...
How many shows ever played the Nugenhand Bank clip? How many shows ever in your whole life?
Never.
That's right.
Not one.
So now let's get on to the important part. Forget about George Bush. If Barbara would have been hotter, we wouldn't even know his name. What's in the moons and stars there for me, kid?
Okay, right now, I'm telling you this right now, we have a new moon on Sunday in Capricorn, okay? Now, all new moons are about basically new beginnings, new developments, new opportunities. This is where you basically reach the highest pinnacle in your career because Capricorn is ruled by Saturn in the 10th house. So Team Sagittarius, guess what this means, okay? This means your second house of income. So you heard it from me, right from the astrologer's mouth, right? That watch your income from not just Salem, not just from all of your other endeavors, real estate, you sell skin, what do you do, skin care?
Yeah, hightidecream.com, hightidecream.com, yeah.
So all those collectively are going to gross what I call a national increase on your ROI, Daddy-O. You're going to be making a lot of money.
We're going to Sizzler? Are we going to Sizzler?
We're going now. We're going to go to the Chop House. Sizzler.
We're going to Sizzler. Now, Mitchell, if my boss now pulls my ticket, I'm going to come and find you in Des Plaines. We're wrestling on your front lawn. Deal?
Okay, sounds great. And I know one thing for sure. You were a fellow athlete, right, when you were in high school in 1986, right?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. A little bit.
And
got thrown off the wrestling team, though. I kept punching a kid in the face.
Oh, I can only imagine a Shaun Thompson at a meet where one person.
I did. I got thrown off the wrestling team. My best friend was the state champion, and I kept punching. He was a little skinny guy, kept twisting me, tying me up. It was very aggravating. But we're still friends to this day. Thank you very much, brother.
All right,
appreciate
have a
the
good
call.
weekend.
You too. Dave, near Seattle.
Hey, I'm here. Wasn't expecting to talk to you. Thank you.
Oh, come on. You're near Seattle. I feel terrible for you. I loved Fraser, and now you're trapped in a communist area.
Well, I tell you this, I have a plumbing company. I'm in a union, but I can tell you this, that about 80% of the union is conservative. They all lean, and 3/4 of the counties in the state of Washington vote red. So it's just,
like Illinois.
Yeah. So that's where the money's at near Seattle for construction and stuff.
Yeah.
But
go figure. The guy who owns
a
a plumbing company is not a communist. Thank God for the people who need toilets, Dave. Go ahead.
Yeah. No, we're just a small company, but 4 or 5 guys, and we just hustle every day. But
love it.
But your message that I see every day on the Facebook is inspiring, and I'm right along with your message that you're putting out there.
I really appreciate that, Dave. And I love that this little show has become a family for the decent people. That's how I view it. So I have never been to Seattle. But if I do, I'm looking you up. All right?
All right. I'll text you.
All right. Thank you, babe.
I'll host you.
I
Thank
love
you.
it. Thank you very much. Thank you, Dave. I appreciate that. Andrew, Cherville, Indiana.
Why didn't Joe Biden's handlers ever let him listen to country music?
Oh, boy, because he probably would have taken his pants off.
Because whenever they sang about a hoedown, he thought his vice president got shot.
Oh, bump. That was a good one. He worked on that all week.
Over $1.3 billion.
We did it, Joe. You're going to be the next president of the United States.
Now, that's not funny. That's aggravating. Funny, Squirrel, is Tourette's on a plane. But I will not play the clip because you don't like it. I know you don't like it. So I will not play the clip. But I will because of our dear friend in Des Plaines, Mitchell. I will remind everybody what the Nugan Bank clip is, as we already had texts asking, what am I talking about? Am I the only one that's ever played this, Squirrel? Everyone should know this cut.
In recent years, there have been charges from time to time that the CIA has involved itself in illegal activities. Some of the most bizarre to date involve a bank in Australia known as Nugan Hand. And tonight, Gary Shepard has a report.
When the Nugan Hand Bank of Sydney, Australia collapsed in 1980, it appeared at first glance to be just another bank failure. But after Australian authorities began taking a closer look, they discovered a tangled web of intrigue with all the elements of a best-selling spy novel. A mysterious death, the body later dug up from its grave, illegal currency transactions, big-time drug operations, and the Central Intelligence Agency.
We were to become the paymasters for the CIA around the world.
Just 3 years after Jeb Bush was a Venezuelan banker.
Please clap.
And the CEO of the bank that was popped in his pocket was the CIA director's card, Colby. Probably a coincidence. He probably picked it up in a bathroom. Dominic, Glendale Heights.
Hey, we gotta do a thing every day called the Mitchell Minute. Okay.
All right.
And then when you're on the beach, we'll call it Walk and Talk with John. Okay.
Right. I like it.
And I got a question for you. Who's this Hedner guy? Dane Goldrush, what, this millionaire guy running for governor, or is he another guy?
I think he just sold out last week. Didn't he get $400 million for his last few shares? And
I don't know, but
yeah.
You can't trust this guy either.
You think? He gave millions and millions and millions to Democrats, all to get in his little fiefdom areas. And then when he's going to run for governor, I think I'm going to do it. I'm going to be a Republican. And his contributions to Republicans are $800. Yeah, you're my kind of guy.
Who's the guy? Who's the guy? I don't know anybody running for governor. Who
Listen, Ted Dabrowski. Ted Dabrowski's got the bona fides. Ted Dabrowski is the only guy, wicked smart. He's been fighting the Leviathan for decades. I mean, he's been involved with Illinois Policy Institute. He was involved with the other one that is exposing it for years, the school and taxes. But now here's the thing, Dom. Come on now. Where are we from, Mo? He better do what Trump did. If you're going to beat these lying, cheating frauds with the machines from Venezuela, you're going to have to do 4-1, Mo. 4-1.
We're going to have to win the Queen of Heaven Cemetery vote. Going to have to win it.
Yeah, do me a favor. Say hello to all my relatives, will you? And then when you really want to win, you come down here by me, kid. Thanks for the call. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Let's go. Let's revisit a couple of these Democrat scallywags. Michigan.
Not one of the military ballots was a registered voter. And the ballots looked like they were all exactly the same Xerox copies of the ballot. They were all for Biden across the board. There wasn't a single Trump vote. And none of the
So just let that breathe a little bit. After Trump's 4 years, the military ballots that went to Michigan, all of them, not one guy with his ass on the line in a uniform, not one, voted for Joe Biden. They all voted for this guy.
America is a nation that can be defined in a single word. I was in the foothills of the Himalayas with Xi Jinping, traveling with him. I guess we traveled 17,000 miles on
You fracking moron, lying rat traitor. Of course not. But that's not what the ballots would show.
voters are registered. They had to manually enter the names and addresses and a birth date of 1/1/2020, which would override the system and allow them to enter non-registered voters, of which
1/1/20 is the override code for which machine? The Venezuelan machines, or The other machines are the Democrat machines. Yeah, okay. Bunch of pathological liars tell you the outcome of an election. At least Saddam Hussein had style. He wore a beret. I won. 312-642-5600.
He's Shaun Thompson.
Hello, Mr. Thompson.
And this is the Shaun Thompson Show on AM 560. The Answer.
Hello, this is Alistair Begg. In September of 2026, I'll be teaching the Bible as we cruise through the Norwegian fjords. I'd love for you to join me. Call 855-565-5519 or visit deeperfaithcruise.com.
This is Shaun Thompson here to tell you about an opportunity for you to promote your business and make a difference this Christmas season. I'm talking about our Food for the Poor Business Benefactor Program. We've partnered with Food for the Poor to provide life-saving food and water for thousands of children and their families over the years. Your business can be a part of this effort. Become a Food for the Poor Business Benefactor by making a $2,500 tax-deductible donation to Food for the Poor. That donation will help more than 30 kids for the entire year. And when you do that, AM 560 will give you 40 one-minute commercials to air right here, Monday through Friday, from 5 in the morning till 8 in the evening, prime time. And all you have to do to take advantage of this deal is call one of the best guys there is at the company, John Gallagher. You can reach him at 847-472-8950. Once again, that's 847-472-8950, 847-472-8950, or go to 560theanswer.com/foodforthepoor.
Did you know most remodeling mishaps start before construction even begins? Here's something else you should know. At Forever Remodeling, we do things differently. Every kitchen, bathroom, and basement project starts with smart planning, detailed 3D designs, a clear scope of work, and accurate pricing, all sorted out before you get started. No surprises, no stress, just beautiful results, done right the first time. Visit foreverremodeling.com. That's the number 4, EVER, remodeling.com, and schedule your free in-home consultation today.
If you or someone you love are getting high quotes for dental implants, visit almostfreeteeth.com today. With a medical PPO insurance plan, it's possible to save 90% off on average to be able to smile again. Check if you qualify now at almostfreeteeth.com.
AM 560. The Answer.
Hey baby, I hear the blues are calling.
Best show. It's really fantastic. I'm still a Seinfeld guy, but I'll tell you what, I don't hate it. Carol, sweet Caroline Levitt, absolutely adore her. I absolutely adore her. And if you didn't see it, this was yesterday. Right to this scoundrel, scumbag fraud's face. I love it.
Thanks, Caroline. Earlier, you were just defending ICE agents generally, and earlier on, Secretary Noem spoke to the media. And
Is that an Irish accent, Squirrel? Is that like Tourette's on a plane accent? I can't tell.
She said, among other things, that they are doing everything correctly. 32 people died in ICE custody last year. 170 U.S. citizens were detained by ICE, and Renee Good was shot in the head and killed by an ICE agent. How does that equate to them doing everything correctly?
Why was Renee Good unfortunately and tragically killed?
Are you asking me my opinion? Because an ICE agent acted recklessly and killed her unjustifiably.
Oh, okay. So you're a biased reporter with a left-wing opinion.
What do you want me to do?
Yeah, because you're a left-wing hack. You're not a reporter. You're posing in this room as a journalist, and it's so clear by the premise of your question. And you and the people in the media who have such biases but fake like you're a journalist, you shouldn't even be sitting in that seat. But you're pretending that you're a journalist, but you're a left-wing activist. And the question that you just raised and your answer proves your bias. You should be reporting on the facts. You should be reporting on the cases. Do you have the numbers of how many American citizens were killed at the hands of illegal aliens who ICE is trying to remove from this country? I bet you don't. I bet you didn't even read up on those stories. I bet you never even read about Laken Riley or Jocelyn Nungray or all of the innocent Americans who were killed at the hands of illegal aliens in this country. And the brave men and women of ICE are doing everything in their power to remove those heinous individuals and make our communities safer. And shame on people like you in the media who have a crooked view and have a biased view and pretend like you're a real honest journalist.
She's talking to you, Lucky Charms. Now, are you or are you not the cousin of the Irishman with Tourette's on a plane?
Hey, Cleo! It's a f***ing Cleo! Nice horse. I feel uncomfortable. Oh, thank you. I just. We're smuggling cocaine.
Listen to his friends laughing.
I'm a drug mule.
For your full attention as we take you through the safety features on this aircraft with an Airbus A320.
You're gorgeous.
Hi. To secure the around your waist and firmly.
It's worked the way I like it.
With your safety buckle cover.
For the bouquet.
Some of which are clearly marked with that exit signs. Floor pass lighting will guide.
I want to marry you.
I think he sounds just like him, Squirrel. It's uncanny.
Thanks, Caroline. Earlier, you were just defending ICE agents generally, and earlier on, Secretary Noam spoke.
That's his first cousin. There's no question about it, Squirrel. The Lucky Charms. And Pam Bondi came out, gave us the real story on these fraud, these phony virtuous, these Minnesota in on it prosecutors.
So the breaking news tonight, I fired them all. What happened in Minnesota? We had 6 prosecutors who suddenly decided they didn't want to support the men and women in ICE. One of them was busy doing a photo shoot with the New York Times while ICE was out there risking their lives. So they came, they said, we want to resign, but we want to use our annual leave up until April, meaning they wanted the taxpayers to pay for them to go on vacation because they decided they didn't want to support law enforcement. So the breaking news tonight, I fired them all.
Excellent. I wonder, are they the same prosecutors that wouldn't go after Ileana Omar's husband or the mayor's wife? That's how you build a syndicate. Now, unlike our own, they're not all right off of Lucky Charms.
Frosted Lucky Charms. They're magically delicious.
When we get back, we have an incredible guest for you. We will be back very soon, and I will have Honey Bunny let me know who the guest is. That'll all be next.
Signature Bank is Chicago's fastest growing independently owned business bank, a bank where relationships still matter. Signature Bank knows your name and your story. I'm Dan Proft, and I know this because Signature Bank is my business bank.
Hi, I'm Bob Chivato, owner of Go Exceed and a customer of Signature Bank. By leveraging AI and machine learning, we provide data management solutions for corporations to save time and money managing their cellular devices. While we rely on machines to help us run our business, we believe personal relationships are essential. This is why we chose Signature Bank. Having a banking partner who understands our background, our business, and our priorities is fundamental to our success. Any bank can provide basic services, but having a bank that you can trust, one that looks out for you and treats your business like its own, that's irreplaceable.
Signature Bank helps local businesses succeed. Want to learn how Signature Bank can help turn your business vision into reality? Call Signature Bank at 773-467-5600 or visit signaturebank.bank. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Hey, sorry to hear your mom passed away.
Thanks.
A lot of work to do settling her assets?
Actually, she prepared a living trust. Makes this process simple.
Yeah, I set up a will for my kids. Should make it easy.
Well, unless your assets are small, your kids will have to go to court to settle your will.
So, where do I get a living trust?
Nauman and Associates. They prepare wills and trusts for a flat fee. No surprises.
Nauman and Associates in Elk Grove Village?
That's right. NALawGroup.com. Call 847-593-8777.
I'm alpine skier Michaela Schifrin. I've won the most World Cup ski races in history. But what does success mean to me? Success means discipline. It's teamwork. It's the drive and passion inside of us, and it's why Stifel is one of the fastest growing global wealth management firms in the country. If you're looking for success, surround yourself with the people who will get you there. If you're an advisor or investor, choose Stifel, where success meets success.
Stifel Nicholas & Company Incorporated. Member SIPC and NYSE.
Past performance is no indication of future results. Investing involves risk. Consult a financial advisor before making any investment decisions.
Bad decisions limit future options. Make enough bad decisions, and you'll destroy your life. Listen to The Flot Line with your host, Rick Hughes, every Sunday morning at 9:30. The Flot Line describes a main line of resistance in your soul built on God's Word. Listen this Sunday for inspiration, motivation, education, all without manipulation. That's The Flot Line with Rick Hughes. This Sunday morning at 9:30 on AM 560. The Answer.
You need a construction company, but who?
Call Crosscom.
A construction company you can trust that shares your Christian and conservative values. For decades, Crosscom has been doing work in Chicagoland, Northwest Indiana, and Wisconsin. Roofs, siding, windows, doors, gutters, basically everything for your home or business, even solar. Quality work and professional services that make you feel great about your decision to work with Crosscom.
Call Crosscom.
Croscom. 630-871-5500. Give them a chance to earn your business. If your repairs are due to storm, fire, or flood damage, you need to call Croscom. They're licensed public adjusters. They work for you, not the insurance company. Croscom will work to get you the money you deserve, the maximum payout. They know the insurance companies and how to deal with them. They win for you. Call Croscom. Croscom Construction and Public Adjusters.
This is Dan Lights with Croscom. You can trust us with your home or business for high-quality work and fair prices. It's the only way we do business.
630-871-5500. CroscomPublicAdjusters.com.
This is Carol Platt-Liebau for townhall.com. On Tuesday, the Supreme Court heard arguments on cases that could determine whether states have the authority to preserve women's sports for biological females. The cases, from Idaho and West Virginia, challenge laws that restrict girls' and women's athletic teams to participants of the same biological sex. Transgender students argue these laws violate Title IX and the Constitution's Equal Protection Clause. But beneath the legal claims lies a more fundamental question. Who gets to define what it means to be a woman under the law? The court must decide whether government is required to treat self-declared gender identity as determinative or whether it can rely on the objective reality of biological sex. Upholding these laws protects fairness and safety in women's sports. More importantly, it prevents sex and womanhood itself from becoming an arbitrary legal construct. That matters.
It's news, opinion, insight. It's AM 560, The Answer. WIND, Chicago.
My next guest is an Air Force veteran. He's a longtime intellectual thinker. He's author of the book, A Time to Stand. He's also from Illinois. We've talked to him once before, and I find his books, his writings, and his thoughts very provocative, very insightful. Michael Finch will join us to discuss the current climate, his new book, and so much more, but that'll be after Foxweiser News.
Under scrutiny, I'm Lisa Lacera, Fox News. The Justice Department is investigating Minnesota Governor Tim Walz and Minneapolis Mayor Jacob Frey, claiming they're impeding law enforcement officers on the ground.
When the governor or the mayor threaten our officers, when the mayor suggests that he's encouraging citizens to call 911 when they see ICE officers, that is very close to a federal crime.
Deputy Attorney General Todd Blanche has another night of demonstrations is expected.
Despite a snowstorm out here in Minneapolis, it appears we are headed for yet another night of protests on the ground. You can see the crowd continues to grow here at the federal Whipple building here in Minneapolis. These federal agents aren't backing down, and the protesters say they aren't going anywhere either.
Fox's Bill Malugin in Minneapolis. The National Guard mission in Washington, D.C. is being extended.
A U.S. official confirming to Fox that Guard troops will likely remain on the streets of the nation's capital until the end of the year. Army Secretary Dan Driscoll signing off on that in a memo reviewed by the Associated Press, citing ongoing efforts to restore law and order and arguing the conditions of the mission warrant an extension past next month.
Fox's Lisa Brady. President Trump recently dropped his push for Guard deployment in several other areas, at least for now, after losing a court fight with California. The suspect in the fatal shooting of Charlie Kirk in a Utah court for a hearing today.
At issue, the adult child of an unnamed senior prosecutor was at the Turning Point USA event in September where Charlie Kirk was shot and killed. The defense says the state attorney general needs to determine whether this senior prosecutor should have been kept off the case or screened due to his child's experience. The Utah County attorney denies any conflict, saying the adult child didn't actually see the shooting and wouldn't be called as a material witness.
Fox's Claudia Cowan in Provo. America's listening to Fox News.
How can you get from here to there? We've got the answer from the AM 560 Traffic Center.
Taking a look at your drive in the AM 560 Traffic Center with traffic, a service of the daily podcast of Chicago's Morning Answer and the Shaun Thompson Show. Eden's inbound Lake Cook to Montrose, a 26-minute ride. 18 minutes outbound Eden's Montrose to Lake Cook. On the Kennedy inbound Montrose to the Byrne Interchange, a 27-minute ride. A 39-minute travel time Kennedy outbound from the Byrne Interchange to O'Hare. There's a crash outbound near Lawrence Avenue. Inbound Eisenhower from Wolf to the Old Post Office, you're looking at 34 minutes. 20 29-minute ride. Outbound Eisenhower from the old post office to Wolf on the Stevenson inbound 355 to Lakeshore Drive, 41 minutes. A 42-minute travel time on the outbound Stevenson Lakeshore Drive to 355. And this report is a service of the daily podcast of Chicago's Morning Answer and the Shaun Thompson Show. Hear both shows with limited commercials when you subscribe for free to the daily podcast at 560theanswer.com/podcast. I'm KT. AM 560 The Answer continues next. And now here's the latest check of your forecast.
Now, your official weather forecast from the Air Right Heating and Cooling Weather Center.
Tonight will be overcast and cold with a few snow showers. Any heavier snowfall could lower visibility and create slippery road conditions. The temperature will drop to 15 degrees. Moving into Saturday, expect cloudy skies and even colder weather with some snow showers. The high temperature will reach 22 degrees. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina on AM 560, The Answer.
Get the latest weather, traffic, and news updates online at 560theanswer.com.
Hey, I'm Mike Slater. My dad passed away at the age of 63. It's out of nowhere. Had a stroke. Super hard, obviously, for the whole family, but my dad had life insurance. This is why I have life insurance for my family, for my wife and 4 kids. And the best place to get life insurance is ethos.com because you can do it in 10 minutes. And there's no medical exam and no blood test, just a few health questions. Get life insurance in 10 minutes so your family is protected. Ethos, ETHOS, ethos.com/Mike.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
I'm Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group. Did you buy a timeshare because they told you it was a great investment? That's a lie. Most timeshares can be bought online for $1. To find out what your timeshare is worth and to cancel it, call us today and we'll send you our timeshare exit kit free with all your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley for your free exit info guide. 800-486-9600. That's 800-486-9600.
Listen, I'm going to be straight with you. Pain doesn't just hurt your body, it cripples your life. I know this because I've seen it with people I care about. If joint pain is holding you back, start the new year by doing something different. There's a way to get real relief without surgery and without putting your life on pause. But you have to take that first step and contact my friends at QC Kinetics. They provide regenerative treatments that help your body repair the areas that are causing pain. I've talked to people who've been through this. These are real results. Achy knees, hips, shoulders, wherever it hurts, instead of facing surgery that sidelines you for months, QC Kinetics treatments happen in the office. Simple procedures that deliver big, life-changing results. January is supposed to be your clean slate month, so make it one. Stop managing the pain and start solving it. Call now to learn more and tell them Dan Proft, that's me, sent you when you do. The number 312-827-6261. That's 312-827-6261. Call QC Kinetics to start the year right. 312-827-6261.
Now, from the Signature Bank Studios, this hour of the Shaun Thompson Show is sponsored exclusively by DonleyAuctions.com. They need your guns. Sell for top dollar. DonleyAuctions.com.
From the streets of Melrose Park to the trading floor of the Merc, he's fought for every dollar he's ever earned. And now, with personal liberty and our system of capitalism under assault in America, he's here to seize back our rights from the government. With a cigar in one hand and a copy of the Declaration of Independence in the other, he's Shaun Thompson. And this is the Shaun Thompson Show.
Some folks are born made to wave the
It's not an accident. My next guest named his book A Time to Stand, The Dire Hour to Defend American Beauty. He's not only an Air Force veteran, he is the president of the David Horowitz Freedom Center. He's a native Illinoisan, and he understands exactly what we're facing.
In June, hundreds of communists will gather in Italy, joined by thousands participating online, to found a new revolutionary communist international to fight for socialist revolution across the globe. Join us. Capitalism faces its deepest ever crisis. Israel is conducting a brutal massacre of the people of Gaza with the full backing of Western imperialism. War, poverty, and precarity are facts of life for workers and young people everywhere. We have to suffer from inflation and financial turmoil, while fat cats like Elon Musk and Jeff Bezos count their billions.
This is the communist revolution. We are at war. It is a time to stand. That is also the name of the book, A Time to Stand. The Dire Hour to Defend American Beauty. He is Michael Finch. Michael, how are you?
I'm doing great, Shaun. Thank you so much. That was a great clip. It's unbelievable that people still believe in that kind of false utopia, as if 100 million dead in the last century wasn't enough to teach us a lesson. Unbelievable.
Well, this is the true face of greed. There is nothing more greedy in the world than a socialist, than a Marxist, than a communist. They're the greedy without the will to work, without the character to achieve. That's the true evil, as I see it, as I've seen it. But you know this. You're from Illinois. You remember these scoundrels, always pretending to be on your side. I will never forget, Michael, when Barack Obama was running. I took my daughter, who was a little girl then, to the orthodontist in River Forest. You remember River Forest, Illinois?
Oh,
right?
yeah.
All the pseudo-intellectual trust fund babies and their sexually frustrated wives. And in the campaign headquarters for Barack Obama, who at the time had not secured the nomination, was Che Guevara's picture. And when you go to the Oak Park communists, the River Forest communists, and all of the people who worked to get Barack Obama elected, these were the closeted communists. The only difference now, as I see it, is they're out of the closet. And they're still calling themselves Democrats, and in there lies the real problem, doesn't it?
Well, yeah, or progressives, right? I mean, because who doesn't want to, believe in progress? But they are the opposite of progressives. They want to, and you're right, they are the greedy ones. They want to hold all the wealth themselves, right? I mean, that's the story of George Orwell's Animal Farm, which, by the way, is being turned into another movie, another version, which is going to totally turn and make the capitalism evil. Communism is somehow the victor. And George Orwell's, this is how the world is upside down. And again, unbelievable that people still believe in this. You're right. They are totally in the open. You got to give them some credit for not even trying to hide. Saul Alinsky believed that you should try to hide this, kind of go under the radar, but not anymore.
What's interesting, too, and I've observed this my whole life. I've never liked scumbags, but I have more respect for a scumbag that actually robs you than I do a communist. And I mean
right.
Because at least he's going to put in the work and kick your door in and risk getting his ass kicked. These communists, when I listen to Brandon Johnson, when I listen to Mandamni, pick one. They want to do it with the full force and enforcement of law. They want the coppers, the tax collectors, the IRS to do what they don't have the courage to do, which is steal your money. And I don't know if you're watching the news in Illinois, but it is devolved into a Soviet system. It is truly outrageous. They openly brag about having Illinoisans pay the failure cost of Chicago and Crook County. And you want to know something? When you see the opposition, they're even dumber, they're drunk, but they're all Democrats. There is no real opposition outside of one or two candidates. And then the other thing is, we're from an area, and you know this, Michael, they've been bragging about stealing elections since the 60s. So I don't even entertain the idea we're going to have an election. It's all theater as I see it in these Democrat areas. And that's the beauty of today. It's undeniable what they did in 2020, isn't it? It's undeniable what they continue to do with the fraud in Minnesota and all the rest of it.
Oh, absolutely. I've been in California for, the last couple of decades, and you would be lucky to have someone like Gavin Newsom be the governor of Illinois. And we want to, he's term limited out. He's gone. He's been a horrible governor, but even Gavin Newsom is better than what has plagued Illinois. And I got to tell you, the legislature in California is to the left. Gavin Newsom is often vetoing bills that even that are too much for him. I mean, they're that far on the left. Now, I'm not going to defend Gavin Newsom. My point is, Illinois is Minnesota, some of these other states, Oregon, and so on. But Illinois is a disaster. I mean, at least under the Dailies, you had some semblance of order and law and protection of business in Chicago. And we've lost all of that in the last couple of decades. It's really, makes you cry as a native of Illinois to see what's happened to the great city of Chicago.
It doesn't. It doesn't. And I'll tell you what I mean by it doesn't. There is no such thing as a definition of a scandal anymore. This is the most staggering. I'm in awe of how complacent people who get robbed, people who lose their property, people who lose their houses and their cars and their income. I'm amazed at how calm they are at taking it. And I'm curious to know what you see in California, because I believe what we see, the outrageous billions and billions of dollars that is stolen in Minnesota, I believe it's a fraction of what Gavin Newsom. And once we can fully audit the damage and the misappropriation and the absence of any kind of accountability. I mean, California is riddled in scandal, from the insurance scoundrel. Wasn't it Gavin Newsom's chief of staff was just hauled off to court? She stole hundreds of thousands that they directly link her to. Is there a scandal that still can touch the nerve of decent people in California?
I don't. We get the government we deserve, right? I mean, that really is true. So Illinois, California, all these states, we're electing these people, so this is what we deserve. But I mean, there's no accountability. California is saved right now by the tech industry in Silicon Valley. That is the only thing keeping California from completely going under. But they're going to leave. That money's going to leave. Those businesses are going to leave. I mean, California is going to be left empty-handed. This incredible golden state with such wealth and promise. It's always been the promise for America, except for what the Democrats have just totally destroyed it. And you're seeing this, in state after state. I mean, thank God Shaun, we still have a federal system where we can, you can have states like Texas and Tennessee and Florida, which can be thriving. But woe to the states that have to put up with this kind of corruption. And you're right, outright communism. They're stealing everything. I mean, when are we going to rise up? We're talking at revolutions in Iran and Venezuela and all these countries. When are the Americans going to rise up in these states and have say, look, we've had enough of this robbery?
So what's interesting, and I know you know this, but you're the president of the David Horowitz Freedom Center. But what's fascinating to me is all of the protests that we saw for the theocracy called Gaza, the fraud, without a stock market, without a title company. I still don't know. How did you buy a condo in Gaza when Hamas was the government? How did that work? They had nothing, right? And you saw all of these American morons all protesting in the streets. Well, we have a very similar instance where now you have the people of Iran that are demanding for freedom since 1978. They've been under the theocracy cult of that Yabba Dabba Doo and his costumes and the rest of it. The people have gone bankrupt and it's chaos. Why are there no Americans protesting for the people of Iran? Are you shocked at this? Or is it just the fact they favor the collectivism of theocracies because it's a close form of communism? That's what we're really facing. These are communists. And I'm going to tell you right now, I don't believe in the election system. So when you said, we get the government we deserve. Listen, if you're in Cook County, there is never going to be anything but a Democrat mafia in charge of Cook County, just like there has never been for 100 years. Because, I mean, after all, if you're willing to steal somebody's money, are you really worried about stealing their vote?
Yeah, well, I mean, I was born in 1961, right, in Illinois. So Chicago has never had a true democratic system. It's been corruption because the election in 1960 was stolen in the city of Chicago, the presidential election. So, and this is, and unfortunately in Illinois, it's affected Democrats and Republicans. I mean, the state has been riled with corruption, really almost, I don't know, for at least, you're right, at least 100 years. So when is that going to end? I mean, when are people going to say, look, people are leaving Illinois. Illinois is losing population. People are going to go to Wisconsin, Indiana, and states beyond. At some point, it's going to break. It has to. Because,
New York,
look,
did you see New York?
Union fell.
Oh, New York, 5,000 businesses left in the last 180 days. 5,000.
That's incredible. Yeah, that is incredible.
If you were to go on what's called remember when we were kids, it was called the Mag Mile? Remember all the businesses and all the rest of it? It looks like Beirut. So when you take a look at what's happening, it's fine, it's moving, but we need to finish it, right? We need to sweep the leg. And what I mean by that is, at least for the first time in my life, we have a man in office who's capable and willing to stop the federal bailout. Because as we learned from Minnesota, 35 cents out of every dollar is welfare. I've always believed the same as in Illinois. Illinois always pretended to be a donor state. Well, the reality is they don't count the liabilities. They don't count the Social Security. They don't count the Medicare, the Medicaid, the food stamps. They don't count it. They just don't count it. So I think now you have an opportunity because they've declared war on our legal system. They declare themselves null and void of our immigration law. They call themselves sanctuary cities. Finally, I have a president that said the first thing I've been saying for years: don't send the money back. Don't pay them. You're going to nullify the law. Now you get nothing. Let them go bankrupt. And it's the first move to cutting out this cancer of corruption, which we've become comfortable with. We made this word up called compromise, which is only something you do with your wife, with your children, with your people you love. You don't do it with the wrong answer. You just agree to be wrong. So what he's doing now is saying, no, we're not paying for it. I think it's an incredible first step. Do you think there's a willingness to support Trump by the decent in this country as he doesn't bail out these welfare states?
Absolutely. Trump just has to follow through. And I trust that he will. I pray that he will. I mean, his instincts are spot on. I mean, really brilliant. But he just has to follow through. There's going to be a lot of pressure on him to kind of back off of that, of what he wants to do. But that would do it. I mean, you just say, look, you're not getting the money. We're going to cut
don't
these
send us the
programs.
money. Right. Follow through. Start the formal financial secession. If you don't want to do it legally, do it monetarily. Let them bleed.
Well, look, I mean, you impose sanctions on a country like Iran, thank goodness, and these other impose sanctions on the state of Illinois. The state of California has the second highest poverty rate in the country behind Mississippi. So, I mean, look, these states are bleeding, and the rest of America is paying for it. You're right. We are paying for it. Wherever you live, you're paying for these decrepit, communist, bankrupt states. And enough is enough. So you're right. Without Trump, I don't think this would happen. He's got to follow through, and he's going. But look, the one thing Trump, whatever pressure is applied to him, he maintains his principle and his purpose. And let's hope he follows through with this, because you're right, Trump. That is the only thing that's going to save these states.
Well, when you look at the Barack Obama effect on the country, the Barack Obama effect isn't just the backdoor nationalization of our health care. The Barack Obama effect is the $30 trillion that's been added since he was a state senator late on his car payment in Chicago. Since he was a state senator late on his car payment, we had $9 trillion as debt. Now we have $39 trillion. So there's a financial crime that's perpetrated on Americans that needs to be accounted for. But I'll never forget, I love California, always did. Since I was a kid, I used to dream about going to California. I wanted to go in the movie business and everything else. So I went when I was 18. I went again very recently. A couple of years ago, a lovely girl in our family got married, and I went, and I met some of the best people there, successful people, all Reagan Republicans. The wedding was in wine country, and I was in awe. I said, how many of you guys are there? And the guy, I'll never forget it, 8 out of 10. 8 out of 10 of us feel the exact way you do, and we love the Reagan years, and we love the principles. And he was a very wealthy guy, and he said, I'm going to pay whatever I have to. And he was giving money to all these people that were going to take it on. But I'm wondering, is that really the case? You're there for 20 years. Is it what I experienced when I went to a wedding of all decent people? Or is it not 80-20?
Well, it's not 80-20. I mean, look, the vast majority of California geographically is conservative. The problem is San Francisco, LA County, San Francisco, up into those areas are predominantly 80-20 leftist, communist, right? So, just like Illinois, you get outside of Chicago and you could be in Oklahoma, right? I mean, you've got, right? I mean, it's a red state. I mean, geographically, most of Illinois is conservative. The problem is Chicago. And the problem with California is the big cities are far, far to the left, right? So you're right. When you get out into the Central Valley, out into the countryside of California, you could be in Kansas. I mean, it's wonderful people. But we are outnumbered. I mean, California is a huge state, but yeah, go ahead, Shaun. I'm sorry.
No, so I hate the verbiage of communist, but I'm going to use it right now. So forgive me. It's called wealth disparity. I hate that word. I hate that phrase, wealth disparity. What that really means is the greatest separation between rich people and dirt poor, homeless welfare recipients. And that is in San Francisco. The greatest in the entire country, in the history of America right now, today, is in San Francisco. If I take you to the old areas you remember, Dalton and Harvey, two scandalous municipalities, bankrupt, thieves run it. Cook County is littered with fraud. When I say they, I'm talking about Democrats, but you know what I mean, communists and thieves. There is not one municipality that is running on a positive financial scheme. They're all riddled in scandal and bankruptcy and fraud. So now you have this in California, where you have San Francisco, the greatest wealth disparity, income diversity, whatever they want to call it, between rich and poor in the history of the country. LA appears to be, from the outside, in the same situation, in chaos. Billions are missing. Do they know this? I mean, at a certain point, when your dog defecates on the rug, I could take the dog and rub its nose in it and say, see what you did? And the dog is ashamed. Are they ashamed? Can you not rub their face in what they created? The most cosmopolitan areas in America are now the biggest third world ghettos in the country.
People don't see it. I mean, what you just said would be kind of a revelation for many people in California. I mean, we hear of those things, but Shaun, if you're living in, a nice neighborhood, if you're living in Thousand Oaks, California, one of the over 100,000 people, one of the safest large cities, or over 100,000 in the entire country, good schools, nice community, conservative. You're not thinking about, the parts of LA or parts of San Francisco where this has been, where it's been so infected by the left, and you have this incredible income disparity. So if unless you're living it and experiencing it day to day, you just don't pay attention. You're too busy with your lives. And things look, if you're on the right side of California and you're living well and you have a house and in a safe community, you're not thinking about day to day about what has happened to the rest of the state. I mean, it's there. You kind of sense it. You hear about it, but you don't experience it in your day to day lives. And until you experience it, I don't think we're going to have that complete change. There's not going to be enough momentum to say, look, enough is enough. We need to overturn this system and recover. But I just don't see the awareness that striking where people are going to act out on it anytime soon. I'm sorry to say.
Well, it's fascinating, too. There's been some news recently about an area you spent a lot of your life in, and that's the non-for-profit area. Non-for-profit. We have this thing called NGOs, right? 600,000 NGOs, all financed by the government, concentrated in 5 states. These are the NGOs in scandal. Now, the non-for-profit is different, a little bit, but not necessarily completely. And I was wondering what you think when you saw in Maine, I don't know if you saw it yesterday, a Somalian participant in a scandal, in a fraud. She apparently worked for a non-for-profit. She had on a $1,000 cashmere Gucci scarf as she was explaining how the Somalian immigrants who are here since 1980 and are all riddled, 8 out of 10 of them on social benefits of one kind or another, and riddled in all of these NGOs and nonprofit scandals. In all of your years at a non-for-profit, were you making the kind of salary where you could buy a $1,000 Gucci scarf for your wife, a cashmere scarf?
Well, no, and I wouldn't even if I could afford it. Shaun, the problem with nonprofits is the vast majority of them are being funded by left-wing foundations or the government, right? We don't take any government money, for one thing, but many nonprofits do, many NGOs do. But it's the foundations, many of them founded by conservative business owners from 100 years ago who have been turned over to their grandkids, and the Ford Foundation, the MacArthur Foundation, all of these foundations are radical, extreme left, pro-communist. So these nonprofits, and something needs to be done about the nonprofit industry. I don't know what kind of reform, but most nonprofits, and that's where you're seeing all this fraud, are being funded by these communist corporate foundations.
Well, the beauty is you could take them into a for-profit. You could put them in an S-corp. You could turn them into an LLC. You could do all kinds of things. And it has to happen from the people who are on the good side of it, that say, obviously this is a financial fraud at this level of what we're talking about. You're talking one tiny infinitesimal state, at least it used to be, and it looks like it's now $19 billion of a financial fraud in the name of NGOs, in the name of kids and healthcare, all a fraud. California is going to blow it out of the water. So at a certain point, we have to be the big boys that say, now it's time to go back to the principles. I think it's a concoction of tax avoidance anyway. There has to be a way to be advantageous to allow people to donate, but the entities they donate to are not syndicates, are not mafia hubs. That's how I feel about it. And it's gonna have to come from the good side of things. So I really think that you guys could set the tone. After all, you've been legitimate and honest from day one. You're made up of patriots and veterans and intellectuals. This is the ones who have to make the argument for Donald Trump, who knows very well about the tax codes and the benefits of having an entity which people could take a tax advantage in giving money to. So there has to be something out there we're not just seeing. What do you think?
Well, one thing you could do is either bring the IRS to their knees or just eliminate the entire Internal Revenue Service, right? Because none of these left-wing nonprofits were actually participating in the 2020 election, stolen election, all that fraud. A lot of that was money being funneled to left-wing nonprofits, which are not supposed to be involved in elections, but they were electioneering on behalf of Joe Biden. That's a fact. Yet the IRS only, even under Trump's first term, was still only targeting conservative nonprofits. The Freedom Center, many other conservative nonprofits have been targeted. This goes back all the way back to the Tea Party days and even before then. You never see left-wing nonprofits being targeted. So the IRS needs to I mean, I wish Donald Trump, all the things he wants to do, get
That's
rid of
number
the
one.
IRS or bring them to their knees, if that's even possible.
Michael, did you see Harriet Hageman 2 days ago? Did you see what she said about the whistleblower? No. Oh, Michael, I'm going to keep you long. I'm sorry. I know you're busy, but I want you to hear this.
What we have learned is that the IRS, in fact, has been using AI to access bank accounts of American citizens without any kind of a search warrant or even without any specific claim that they have committed a crime. So this was something that was discovered by an undercover journalist, and what they found is that the IRS has claimed that they have access to every single person's bank account. This person also indicated that they've been working with the Department of Justice and that they have absolutely no problem whatsoever going after the little guy to make sure that they are paying their taxes.
Now that's Harriet Hageman. She's a wonderfully brilliant woman, and this is an earth-shattering story. And do you know there was a time when people who called themselves Democrats would be just as outraged as Republicans, but the reason that they're not outraged is they're in control. They've been in control since Barack Obama was late on his car payment. This is a problem, and it needs to be exposed. And if we can't expose it now with Donald Trump and supposedly some sort of lead in the Congress, which I still don't think we have, in the Senate, we can't anymore, and we're just going to have to suffer through it, right?
Well, look, I mean, that's like the East German Stasi. I mean, that's how bad the IRS is. I mean, they are a tyrannical organization. And the fact that they're still doing this, I mean, that should have been, there was also a time when there was real journalism. Thank goodness for the reporters that can expose, but that should be a front page story on all the newspapers. And everyone's going to ignore it if we could become that used to the IRS being a tyrannical government organization, which has infiltrated the personal, private lives of American citizens. I mean, Donald Trump put aside Venezuela, Iran for 5 minutes and give a talk about getting rid of the IRS. This is a tyrannical government organization that it's unbelievable. I mean, I'm not surprised at all because I've heard other stories about what the IRS is capable of and what they do. Why is this allowed, John? Why are we allowing this? Why is our government, you're right, Republicans in Congress? The IRS is funded by the Congress, right? The Congress could cut off funding for the IRS tomorrow.
Well, look, I'll never forget Red Fox, watching him crying in his driveway as they took everything. And here we now know that Joe Biden and his crime family, from the crack-smoking son to the dog sister to the brother, they didn't even file. For years, didn't even file. Right. I am so sick and tired of it. This is why I always keep an eye on you, and I can't wait to get through the book. I really can't. Where's the best place to go buy the book?
Well, Amazon.com or the Freedom Center's homepage, frontpagemag.com. You can go to the bookstore there, but you can order on Amazon. And, Shaun, I appreciate everything, all your help, and, God bless you. Keep up the great work and fighting for liberty. You too, Michael, and I hope when they put us in the camps, at least we share the same cell, okay? We will do. Thank you, Michael. You, Shaun. Take care. You too. We'll be back with your calls and comments.
He believes in freedom, capitalism, and individual liberty. And because of that, he's become an enemy of the state. He's Shaun Thompson, and this is the Shaun Thompson Show on AM 560. The Answer.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. Maybe you haven't heard about us. We're not one of the big guys. Truth is, we don't want to be. If you're over 50, Big Wireless has you paying for more data than you might need. Why? They might want you to cover the costs of younger people who do use all that data. If you're not using the data, you're probably being used. We've heard time and time again that some Big Wireless customers get stuck paying hundreds and even thousands more for years and years because they think it's hard to switch. Not with us. It takes just about 20 minutes and you can change your plan anytime without extra charges. We use the same towers as the big guys, so you'll get the same fast nationwide coverage without the big wireless bill.
Our plans start at just $20 a month, and for a limited time, switch and get your second month free. Call 1-888-FREEDOM, visit consumercellular.com or a store near you and get your second month free today. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing. See site for additional details.
The following is a paid political announcement.
This is Kevin Coyne, Chairman of the DuPage County GOP. I am inviting you to our Lincoln Day dinner on Friday, February 27th at Abington Banquets in Glen Ellen. We will feature keynote speaker and national political commentator Tudor Dixon. Enjoy an evening of camaraderie, great food, and Republican unity. Sponsorship packages are available. Purchase tickets today at DuPageGOP.com. Paid for by DuPage County Republican Central Committee.
Who
We couldn't decide if we needed in-home care for Dad.
Right. Just some help here and there with bathing, organizing his meds, a walk through the neighborhood.
Oh, exactly. But everywhere we looked wanted us to commit to 10 hours a week. It was more care than he needed, and it didn't make sense to spend extra for it.
Then we found Senior Helpers of Naperville Southwest. Only 4 minimum hours. We were shocked.
Now a caregiver stops by once or twice a week to help with the small things that make a big difference.
And Mom loves the visits. It's not just help. It's companionship.
At Senior Helpers of Naperville Southwest, we understand that not every family needs round-the-clock care. We serve DuPage, Cook, Kane, Kendall, and Will counties. We conduct free in-home assessments and we guarantee compatibility. Call Senior Helpers of Naperville Southwest today at 331-281-0728. Again, that's 331-281-0728. And tell them AM 560 sent you. Senior Helpers of Naperville Southwest. Senior care, only better.
Well, that was a surprise. The HVAC tech just said our furnace apparently has a cracked heat exchanger, and it'll cost thousands.
Oh, you're kidding. He barely looked at it. Now he's pushing a huge repair? What should we do?
I don't really trust them. We need a second opinion. My brother Mark recommended Air Right Heating and Cooling. I looked them up and they seem legit. Great Google reviews. I'm sure they'd give us an honest assessment. He liked that they checked their carbon monoxide readings so he knows the air they're breathing is safe. And I guess it also gave a sense of how much life was left in their furnace.
I'd love that peace of mind. Plus, why spend a fortune on something we might not even need?
Get a second opinion from Air Right Heating and Cooling. Tell them AM 560 sent you and get $56 off any service. Visit Air Right Heating and Cooling right now at AIR-RITE.com. Again, that's AIR-RITE.com. Air Right Heating and Cooling. Doing it right since 1959.
This is a special alert to all Americans who own a vehicle with less than 200,000 miles with an auto warranty about to expire or with no warranty coverage at all. Due to a decline in the economy, CarShield is announcing a low-cost month-to-month vehicle protection plan that is now available to the public to save any driver out-of-pocket expenses on future auto repairs. Call now to find out how you can pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. Yes, you heard that correctly. Pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. An open phone line has been established for all drivers to call for a free quick quote. Call 800-330-8323 now. Drivers who are covered will not have to pay for covered repairs again. This protection plan is at an all-time low. Additionally, drivers who activate this vehicle protection today will also receive free roadside assistance, free towing, and car rental options at no additional cost. Call us for your free quick quote today. 800-330-8323. That's 800-330-8323. What do you have to lose? Call 800-330-8323. Again, 800-330-8323.
Remember Cinema Squirrel? Remember that schizophrenic chick from Arizona? She's a lawyer. Oh, big lawyer. Social worker. She was a senator. Turns out she likes to take dope and get stooped by her bodyguard. Oh, it's a fantastic story. I'm going to play that cut, and I'll take your calls at 312-642-5600 after News with Patrick.
36 degrees in Chicago. A few flurries around in the QC Kinetics newsroom on AM 560. The Answer. I'm Patrick Johnson. The Chicago City Council is considering a new assessment on hotel stays that supporters say would raise about $40 million.
The Illinois Hotel and Lodging Association supports the proposal to impose a 1.5% assessment at hotels with 100 or more rooms in a new tourism improvement district. IHLA President CEO Michael Jacobson said he normally opposes hotel taxes and fees.
The TID is a self-imposed assessment on hotel stays. It's not a tax.
Tiffany Gallagher of the consulting firm Civitas answered Alderman David Moore's question about why hotels couldn't charge the fee on their own without involving the council.
This is an assessment district that is established by state statute, and that state statute governs those rules.
If aldermen approve the measure, taxes and fees on Chicago hotel stays would rise to nearly 19%. I'm Jim Talamonte.
Cubs welcoming a new free agent, third baseman Alex Bregman. He addressed the Chicago sports media on Thursday.
Getting to watch that team last year, to veteran group with some exciting young players as well, and they're willing to do what it takes to win at this level.
Bregman signed a 5-year deal worth $175 million. played with the Red Sox last season, a key player in the World Series championship run for the Astros. The elation short-lived. Kyle Tucker signing a $240 million contract with the Dodgers. Tucker smacked 22 homers, drove in over 70 runs last year for the Northsiders. This report is a service of People's Gas Energy Efficiency Program. The People's Gas Energy Efficiency Program provides energy-saving tips and rebates to help keep the warmth and savings in this winter. Visit peoplesgasdelivery.com/rebates because the warmest things in your house are the things that make home feel like home. Let's head to the traffic center, get a check of the roads with Jill.
Taking a look at your drive in the AM 560 Traffic Center with traffic, a service of the AM 560 store. Eden's inbound Lake Cook to Montrose, a 29-minute ride. A 17-minute ride on the outbound Eden's Montrose to Lake Cook. On the inbound Kennedy Montrose to the Burn Interchange, you're looking at 26 minutes. And a 38-minute drive time on the Kennedy outbound from the Burn Interchange to O'Hare. Inbound Eisenhower Wolf to the Old Post Office, a 27-minute travel time. 22 minutes outbound Eisenhower from the Old Post Office to Wolf. On the inbound Stevenson from 355 to Lakeshore Drive, you're looking at 34 minutes and a 33-minute travel time. On the outbound Stevenson Lakeshore Drive to 355. On the Dan Ryan outbound from the Burn Interchange to the 95th, you're looking at 22 minutes. Order t-shirts, hoodies, and more from your favorite AM 560 brands, including Prof University and the Shaun Thompson Show, when you go to 560theanswer.com/store. I'm KT. AM 560 The Answer continues next.
Now, your official weather forecast from the Air Right Heating and Cooling Weather Center.
Tonight will be overcast and cold with a few snow showers possible. Be cautious as heavier bursts of snow could limit visibility and create slippery road conditions. The temperature will drop to 15. Moving into Saturday, expect cloudy skies and even colder conditions with a chance of some snow showers. The high temperature will reach 22. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina on AM 560, The Answer.
Get the latest weather, traffic, and news updates online at 560theanswer.com.
Hair Volume from New Nordic will make your hair look thick and healthy. Hair Volume is available online at Amazon and NewNordicUSA.com or in the hair care aisle at your local CVS.
This is Shaun Thompson here to tell you about an opportunity for you to promote your business and make a difference this Christmas season. I'm talking about our Food for the Poor Business Benefactor Program. We've partnered with Food for the Poor to provide life-saving food and water for thousands of children and their families over the years. Your business can be a part of this effort. Become a Food for the Poor business benefactor by making a $2,500 tax-deductible donation to Food for the Poor. That donation will help more than 30 kids for the entire year. And when you do that, AM 560 will give you 40 one-minute commercials to air right here, Monday through Friday, from 5 in the morning till 8 in the evening, prime time. And all you have to do to take advantage of this deal is call one of the best guys there is at the company, John Gallagher. You can reach him at 847-472-8950. Once again, that's 847-472-8950, 847-472-8950, or go to 560theanswer.com/food for the poor.
So the body knows that it needs to heal itself, but it doesn't know how to concentrate it and target it into just one area. So that's where we come in.
By we, Dr. Ashley Caravelli means the nation's leader in regenerative medicine, QC Kinetics.
We put in those treatments, then it sends out like little signalers to your body. We're able to make the body focus on the areas that need the most healing.
QC Kinetics has gathered brilliant medical minds like Dr. Caravelli and Dr. Mitchell Scheinkup, a pioneer in the field of regenerative medicine, to lead the way in these innovative pain treatments.
So at QC Kinetics, we have a whole team working nationwide with cutting-edge research to reach our patients and treat them and know that surgery is no longer their only option.
The consultation is free. Find out if you're a candidate. Call QC Kinetics today.
Call QC Kinetics, 312-827-6261. That's 312-827-6261. 312-827-6261.
Honey, I can't deal with this kitchen anymore. It's cramped and everything is outdated.
I know, but it makes no sense to move. I could call my contractor buddy Chad.
Babe, you've seen Chad's house, right?
Yeah, good point.
Plus, he showed up late for his own wedding. Let's get someone who's reliable.
How about Forever Remodeling? They have a team of interior designers, master installers, and project managers all under one roof.
Their reviews on Google look amazing, and homeowners post a ton of pictures of their work.
It looks like they even offer 3D rendering of their projects.
Just like my TV design shows.
Exactly.
Plus, AM 560 listeners get a free in-home design consultation.
From kitchens to bathrooms, basements to whole homes, the design build team at Forever Remodeling takes the stress out of remodeling. They're done on time and guaranteed to match your vision. Visit them online at foreverremodeling.com. That's the number 4everremodeling.com. Forever Remodeling, stress-free and high-quality remodeling.
Now, from the Signature Bank Studios. This hour of The Shaun Thompson Show is sponsored exclusively by DonleyAuctions.com. Inherited a coin collection? Sell to global bidders for top dollar. DonleyAuctions.com.
AM 560, The Answer.
So, I have described Washington, D.C. as Caligula for nerds for 35 years. There is no recession in Washington, D.C. If you're really thinking about a career move and you're a scumbag, you should go to Washington, D.C. and open up a place called Vices. You could sell dope and girls and boys and all kinds of nonsense, because these 535 scallywags that we call politicians, they're bound by no reality, by no law, and they're all worth millions and millions of dollars. But every once in a while, there's a scandal that's even shocking among scum, like Bob Menendez, flying down to a third world and banging underage hookers at $30 a crack on a plane of a dentist in Florida who was charging Medicare $100 million a year. That would have been a scandal. It took, I think, 15 years for Bob Menendez to finally get caught with his hand in a cookie jar, a couple of gold bars. This cinema chick from Arizona was a freaky girl. She said she was a lesbian, then she wasn't a lesbian. Well, one thing's for sure. She's a bit of a scumbag, and she's embroiled in a scandal that's on MSNBC right now. Right now, this is news. And is it really news, or is it just a window into the kind of life that these scumbags live for decades?
Former U.S. Senator Kyrsten Sinema is being sued as a homewrecker for allegedly ruining a 14-year marriage. The lawsuit was filed in North Carolina by a woman named Heather Amell. She's the now ex-wife of a former Sinema bodyguard and Senate staffer. North Carolina is one of the few states that has a so-called homewrecker law, and that allows people to sue a spouse's lover who may have played a role in a breakup of a marriage. Amell claims Sinema had an affair with her husband during trips across the country and around the world, and that Sinema used campaign funds to pay for all of it. The senator also accused of ethics violations for those same trips while she was still in office. Amell is seeking more than $25,000 in damages. Her ex-husband, Matthew Amell, was hired as a security guard for Sinema in 2022. He later joined her Senate staff. Court papers claim Sinema sent encrypted messages to Amell on the app Signal that were of a romantic nature and told him to bring the drug MDMA, or Molly, on a work trip so she could, quote, guide him through a psychedelic experience because he was suffering from PTSD. He's a former service member. Sinema was elected as a Democrat and later became an independent. She has not yet commented on this lawsuit, but a lot of people...
On MSNBC, the scandal has gotten broader now. Turns out the allegation isn't just this guy. It's some of her other security staff. It's a party! And the senator is on a lazy Susan. Just bring the dope. These are the scum that make decisions for our nation. And it's something to be concerned with. But it does explain why we've gotten to this point and who they are.
That the climate crisis is real, that it is an urgent matter to which we should apply metrics that include holding ourselves to deadlines around time.
Wrong.
We did that with the Inflation Reduction Act. We have...
Boy, the money that they got kicked back. A lot of money, Squirrel. A lot of money. Enough where you could... $26 million in real estate.
Mamala just bought an $8 million Barbie Malibu dream house. Here are the highlights. Indoor-outdoor living, a spa bathroom with soaking tub, built-in speakers everywhere, perfect for Doug's spin class. Backyard gets even better. Full kitchen, private putting green, and, of course, a big, beautiful fire pit.
And the constituents, they live a lot worse. They live like people do in Chicago, where now there is no such thing as a good neighborhood.
Was last night's fatal shooting in Morgan Park drug-related?
That is what Alderman Matthew O'Shea tells Fox Chicago after we found out one man died and two more were wounded.
Fox Chicago's Brett Bogansky found out that it happened just blocks away from a Chicago police station.
When you're talking about drugs and guns, no neighborhood is safe.
A fatal shooting Wednesday night in Morgan Park. One man dead, two more wounded.
This is video we obtained from the Citizen app showing one crime scene at 111th and South Longwood.
They're taping up right now.
The other at Prospect and Homewood, where you see Chicago police officers putting up crime tape around a white van where it appears there are multiple bullet holes. If you take a look at this map, it shows both crime scenes blocks away from Chicago Police District 22.
I mean, that wasn't a terrible neighborhood. Am I remembering that correctly? I thought Morgan Park was fine, but then you listen to the alderman and you realize, what an idiot.
Quarters.
That appears to be a drug deal gone bad.
How alarming is this, knowing it was just blocks away from a police station?
I think it's just another example of how dangerous communities are when you have people involved in drugs, in possession of weapons.
Or it could be that it's just the scum themselves. You don't need gun control, dummy. You need scum control. Craig, I'm on Greenwood.
Shaun, hey, listen. God does something that's really interesting to confound the highly educated scholar who rejects him, and at the same time, to a person that's open to God and everything, to kind of draw him in. What he does is he does an opposite thing. So you take something like an avocado, just some green mush, nothing really there too much. It's got a big old seed in there about the size of a golf ball. So it needs this big seed to produce basically something that doesn't have any eyes or ears or lungs or immune system, nothing like that. Then you take the most sophisticated living thing on the planet, us, and you take a look at our seed. You need a magnifying glass to see it. It's smaller than a mustard seed. And God says that, listen, I take and do things where you expect to be one way, and I'll make it so that the so-called scholar who rejects me can't explain it. And that's one of them. There's thousands of them. I'm going to share them every now and then. But, hey, you compare an avocado seed to the seed that a woman has to produce the most sophisticated being on the planet, us, and you can't even see the little seed that it carries all the information to make us.
Yeah, I like it. It's a God I can understand and a God with a sense of humor. I personally love it. And he should have known. He made her naked. Of course the guy was going to listen to her. She's naked. 312-642-5600.
Make money, smoke cigars, and live free on the Shaun Thompson Show on AM 560. The Answer.
The following is a paid political announcement.
This is Kevin Coyne, chairman of the DuPage County GOP. I am inviting you to our Lincoln Day dinner on Friday, February 27th at Abington Banquets in Glen Ellen. We will feature keynote speaker and national political commentator Tudor Dixon. Enjoy an evening of camaraderie, great food, and Republican unity. Sponsorship packages are available. Purchase tickets today at DuPageGOP.com. Paid for by DuPage County Republican Central Committee.
This news alert is brought to you by Secure Controls Incorporated. With no signs of retail theft slowing down, organized retail crime now impacts the overall economy with losses trending toward over $150 billion by 2026. It's important now more than ever to send a message to thieves. If you're a VP or Director of Loss Prevention or Asset Protection, you already are aware of these alarming statistics. How can you protect your inventory and get back to rising profitability? It only takes one click to secure.com. That's SE-KURE.com. With active anti-theft security solutions and products from Secure Controls, you're assured state-of-the-art protection of your merchandise. Secure will keep thieves second-guessing and provide peace of mind to your employees. Check out our products manufactured in the USA. From electronic sensors and alarms to mechanical and clothing security to customized solutions, we're the original inventors of anti-shoplifting products. Request our product catalog today at secure.com, SE-KURE.com, or call 800-250-9265.
Town Hall News, where conservative voices cut through the noise from breaking headlines to fearless opinion. We report what matters without apology, written by people who actually believe what you believe. Town Hall tells the stories the corporate press buries, from President Trump to Capitol Hill, from pivotal elections to your everyday lives. Join the movement at townhall.com. Real stories, real reporters, real conservative media.
I can't believe how much better Dad's doing since we brought on Senior Helpers of Naperville Southwest.
I know. He's more engaged, more himself. It makes such a difference having him right here at home.
Around the photos, his old record player, his favorite recliner, all the little things he knows. That familiarity really matters with dementia.
And their caregivers, they're just incredible. They treat him with so much patience and respect.
Plus, they helped us tap into a Medicare program that offers 80 hours of respite care for Alzheimer's and dementia.
We're not worried anymore, and Dad gets to stay where he's happiest, at home.
Trust the caregivers at Senior Helpers of Naperville Southwest, serving Cook, DuPage, Kane, Kendall, and Will counties. You can call them 24/7 at 331-281-0728. Again, that's 331-281-0728. And tell them AM 560 sent you. Senior Helpers of Naperville Southwest. Senior care, only better.
AM 560, The Answer.
Кабас колбасит соло, колбасер по пояс голый.
Can't believe how fast the show is, Squirrel. I thought we had another hour. Hate the weekend.
So the big news that we got in the last 24 hours is that Tom Emmer, the number 3 member of the House, Republican leadership, he has confirmed on the record that congressional investigators are now have Minnesota state employees. We've known that there were these whistleblowers, these state legislators were talking to them. They've now become federal and congressional whistleblowers, and they're signing affidavits. And what Tom Emmer says is in the affidavits is people saying, I personally talked to the governor and his staff, Governor Tim Walz and his staff, and I told them about this fraud, told them it needed to be stopped, and they did nothing. They looked the other way.
So the big deal here, Squirrel, is now they have the protection of the federal government. The federal government will take the affidavits, will take the testimony, will take the evidence. That's why all these scallywags, all these scumbags are telling you it's time to tone it down. Let's change the rhetoric. I want them all in a perp walk. Every single one of them, including that little weasel bastard Fry and his dog wife, the bag lady, and especially this Walz character. I knew he was as crooked as Grand Avenue the minute he said, I'm a Democrat.
That is very significant. Now, Tom Emmer said, I think that's enough to bring criminal charges and to put the man in cuffs. Now, that is a very significant moment because Congress will take that testimony. It will make a criminal referral. And there is a U.S. attorney out in Minnesota, no glitz, no glamour, but they are rolling up indictments and they mean business.
Stay very positive this weekend. Big things can happen on the weekend. I'm looking forward to it, but I'm looking more forward to Monday. So if you're out there, stay safe. And remember, every Friday, I want to hear from our friend Charlie Kirk before the anthem. Go ahead, Squirrel.
As an analyst and actually as a participant, the more I realize that so much of this is psychological, that if people believe things will be better, they will be better. A quote that I live by, I'm a Christian, I wear it on my sleeve, so quotes would probably always be Bible verses. I'll give you 2. One is actually not in the Bible, it's more mythological, and one is actually in the Bible. The first is not in the Bible, it's this too shall pass, which was actually, people think it's in the Bible, it's not. But it's King Solomon's phrase, which is really amazing when you think about it, because it's good no matter what season of life that you're in. If you're going through the worst of times, this too shall pass, and things are going to get better. If you're going through the best of times, though, it's really humbling. This too shall pass, and this will fade away. It humbles you when you need it. It builds you up when you need it. Gives you hope when you need it. It also gives you a little bit of a dose of a gut check. One of my favorite verses, though, is Romans 8:28, which says that God works all things for good for those who love him. It's a very freeing and liberating verse for those of us that are Christians, because we believe that when things can be really bad, God is working it for his good, his perfect and pleasing will, which is a very, very hard teaching when you come across business closures or staff layoffs. But it's very liberating that God is working all things towards an ultimate good. So I love that, and it kind of is very freeing that I don't have to be in charge of everything. And there is a God, and I am not him, and I surrender to his will.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Is your child tackling new challenges in math this year? Working hard to get ahead of the pack? Here's the good news. There's a secret weapon. Mathnasium, the authority on math education. With over 1,000 learning centers worldwide, we know what it takes to build real confidence in math. Here's what sets us apart. Expert instructors who teach each student individually. No cookie-cutter approach. No rushing through lessons. We create customized learning plans designed specifically for your child's needs, helping them achieve their academic goals, not just this semester, but all year long. Whether they're struggling to catch up or ready to excel, our proven methods work. Kids leave Mathnasium stronger in math, more confident